In the grand halls of the medieval kingdom, a splendid gathering takes place. The air is filled with the gentle hum of conversations and the soft clinking of goblets as the nobility mingles amidst the tapestry-covered walls. It is a scene of vibrant colors and intricate designs, where the ambient light from the grand chandeliers casts golden reflections against the opulent attire of the guests. Kings and queens from neighboring lands have arrived, each accompanied by their entourage. The kings wear their finest regalia, adorned with gold and jewels that signify their immense wealth and power, while the queens are resplendent in flowing gowns of silk and embroidery, their grace accentuated by the gentle sparkle of their diamond-encrusted tiaras. As the royal guests fill the hall, all eyes are drawn to Lady Evelina, a newly arrived guest whose presence is as captivating as it is mysterious. Lady Evelina is a cousin to the queen, yet this is her first appearance at such a grand event. The court is abuzz with curiosity and intrigue, as her reputation for glamour and enigmatic allure precedes her. Her dress, a masterpiece woven with threads of silver and adorned with tiny sapphires, moves like liquid as she gracefully makes her way through the room. Whispers follow in her wake. Who is this intriguing lady whose very being seems to mesmerize all those she encounters? Her eyes, vivid with intelligence and perhaps a hint of mischief, meet those of the court with a boldness that both attracts and intimidates. Throughout the evening, Lady Evelina navigates the crowd with ease, her demeanor both amiable and composed. She engages in polite discourse with a duke, exchanges pleasantries with a lady in waiting, yet all the while there's an air of secrecy about her. The gathering is not a mere celebration, but also a political affair. The kings and queens here to forge alliances, discuss peace treaties, and find common ground amidst their diverse realms. A private note is passed discreetly from the king of a neighboring realm to Lady Evelina. She receives it with a serene smile, her expression revealing nothing of its contents. Meanwhile, the atmosphere in the hall is one of joviality and elegance. Musicians play a gentle melody on their lutes and harps, providing a soothing backdrop to the event. As the evening progresses, dancers glide across the fine marble floor in synchronized elegance. Laughter and cordial greetings punctuate the air like musical notes. Though the event is replete with protocols and formal etiquette, there's a sense of camaraderie among the guests. The gathering of so many dignitaries is a testament to a rare harmony amongst these realms, a peace carefully maintained but resting on a delicate balance of diplomacy and mutual respect. Lady Evelina, in particular, seems at ease within this atmosphere, her demeanor suggesting that she's no stranger to such encounters. Her interactions, though brief, leave lasting impressions, her voice, enigmatic and velvety, weaving through the conversation like silk. Outside, the soft glow of the moon bathes the kingdom in a gentle light. The stars scatter like diamonds across the deep azure sky, bearing silent witness to the night's proceedings. The gardens, carefully tended and fragrant with blossoms, offer a serene escape from the bustling halls. As the evening draws to a close, Lady Evelina bids farewell to her newfound acquaintances, the mystery of her presence lingering like an unspoken promise. Her carriage awaits, ready to carry her into the night. Those who met her at the gathering are left with lingering thoughts and questions. In the days that follow, the event becomes the talk of the court. Lady Evelina's name is on everyone's lips, her debut a subject of endless speculation. Yet, amidst the intrigue and the myriad of tales spun about her, there is one undeniable truth: her presence has left an indelible mark upon the court. Thus, the royal gathering, lavish and grand as it was, serves as a reminder of the fragile nature of peace and the unyielding power of enigma. Just as Lady Evelina's story remains untold, so too does the future of these kingdoms lay unwritten, waiting silently beyond the horizon of time. As dusk falls, the sound of enchanting steampunk melodies fills the castle. The intricate gears and mechanisms hidden within the grand hall summon a symphony unlike any other. It's a night like no other, for tonight Lady Evelina is to make her grand entrance. The air is filled with anticipation and the tinkling of mechanical contraptions. The castle, a marvel of architectural ingenuity, stands as a beacon of harmony between artistry and machinery. Its towering spires are adorned with spinning cogs and glinting metalwork, reflecting the dying rays of the sun like a sparkling tiara. Lady Evelina, an enigma wrapped in beauty, emerges from the depth of shadows, her entrance perfectly timed as the music swells. She wears a gown that seems woven from the very essence of twilight. Rich purples and deep blues cascade around her, glittering with tiny stars that catch the light with every movement. In her hands is an instrument of her own creation, an ethereal contraption that combines the elegance of a violin with the innovative complexity of steam-driven machinery. As she draws her bow across the strings, the first notes resonate through the castle, an otherworldly sound that captures the essence of mystery and wonder. The king, a well-respected ruler known for his wisdom and fairness, is captivated. His eyes fixed on Lady Evelina, he seems to journey within the melody, each note pulling him deeper into her spell. His queen, a woman of grace and dignity, sits beside him, her eyes veiled in a subtle shadow of concern as she watches her husband's rapture. Lady Evelina's performance continues, each melody a tale of distant lands and forgotten dreams, a waltz through time and space. The audience is transfixed, feeling as if they've been transported to a realm untouched by the passage of time, where steampunk dreams dance on the fringes of reality. As the final notes fade into the whispering echoes of the castle's hollowed halls, a profound silence follows, as if the world itself holds its breath. Then, a crescendo of applause rises to fill the void. Lady Evelina bows gracefully, her face a mask of serene indifference, hiding the secrets that dwell within her heart. The king rises, acknowledging her skill with a nod, his eyes lingering on her, drawn by an invisible thread of fascination. The queen's expression remains inscrutable, her thoughts hidden behind a poised facade that betrays nothing of her inner workings. The night unfolds into a tapestry of courtly intrigue and whispered conspiracies, the enchantment of Lady Evelina's music lingering in the air like an unforgotten dream. Guests mingle, voices a soft murmur beneath the tapestry of night sky, rich with promises and possibilities. Word of Lady Evelina spreads through the castle, carried on currents of hushed conversations. Her mysterious allure weaves a web of fascination, drawing the curiosity of nobles and common folk alike. It seems as though each person present this evening has been touched by her music, an invisible thread linking them in shared wonder. The enchantress herself, a solitary figure amidst the throng, observes quietly from the periphery. Her thoughts are a tapestry of intricate designs, each thread a plan waiting to be spun into reality. Her eyes, sharp and discerning, miss nothing that transpires around her. In the days to come, the castle will be abuzz with speculation about this enigmatic beauty and her mesmeric performance. The king's fascination with her will spark rumors of secret meetings and whispered ambitions, while the queen's watchful presence will fuel tales of courtly intrigue. But for now, as night settles over the land and the guests begin to disperse, the castle stands silent once more. It is a place of peace, where dreams are woven into reality, spun on the looms of mystery and marvel. Under the watchful gaze of the stars, the enchantment of this evening remains a beloved tale, a peaceful lullaby to soothe the castle to sleep, perfect for those who seek solace in the embrace of tranquil dreams. Within the shadowed halls of the castle, whispers carried tales as ancient as the stones themselves, spiraling through the corridors like threads of a cobweb spun by an unseen spider. Rumors about Lady Evelina never failed to intrigue and unsettle those who dared to listen. Whispers told of her mysterious origins, woven into evening fireside conversations and hushed bedchamber secrets. Evelina appeared at court as if born from the twilight itself, her presence both ethereal and enigmatic. Her footsteps, silent as the settling dusk, glided through the castle, leaving behind a trail of murmurings that people swore sounded like the gentle rustle of leaves. It was said that to catch a glimpse of her at twilight was to see the past and future in a single moment, for she seemed to embody the very cadence of time. The king, ever embroiled in the affairs of state and burdened by the weight of 1,000 worries, found a rare solace in Evelina's presence. Her voice, when she spoke, had the quality of a lullaby sung by the night breeze, tenderly weaving its way into the busy tapestry of his thoughts. Evelina possessed an allure, not just in her countenance, but in the way her words danced, creating an enchanting spell that wrapped around those fortunate enough to hear. Yet, the queen harbored suspicions. She had seen courts rise and fall, watched as alliances were forged in darkness only to dissolve by the light of day. The whispers that Evelina's origins were steeped in sorcery piqued her vigilance. She noticed how Evelina's presence seemed to cast the shadows into a deeper hue, almost as if bending the light to her will. This uncanny ability rattled something deep within the queen's core, igniting sparks of fear beneath her composed exterior. At night, when the world sank into a velvet quiet, Evelina's voice became something otherworldly. Her words floated like echoes captured in a crystal sea, reverberating gently yet persuasively within the walls of the castle, igniting nightly conversations shrouded in mystery. It was during these hours that Evelina's whispers found ears receptive to secrets, her voice an ASMR like balm that soothed the unconscious tensions within the stones around her. For those who listened, Evelina's murmurs were conduits to a realm of curiosity and caution. They enticed listeners into a dance of soft-spoken intrigue, far removed from the harsh realities of court life. It was said that her words could unravel the most tangled of minds, leading them into a peaceful reverie akin to a swan's glide across a moonlit lake. The history of the castle itself was not without its own sage whispers. It spoke of eras past where peace and prosperity reigned for centuries. Stories of knights and their noble quests, of alliances formed under starlit skies and solidified by oaths sealed with moonlit dew, were interwoven into the fabric of the castle's history. In this peaceful tapestry, where the castle stood as a sentinel of dreams and ideals, Evelina's enigma was both complement and contrast. Her presence was a reminder of the beauty and peril that came with the unseen and unknown. To listen to Evelina was to delve into a tranquil history, one that existed within and beyond the confines of the present moment. Her narratives blended seamlessly into the histories whispered in the cloistered corners of the castle, creating stories perfect for quiet contemplation or peaceful slumber. And so, every night as shadows deepened and the world held its breath in anticipation of dawn, the whispers in the crypt and throughout the castle came alive. They carried with them the unending tale of Lady Evelina, whose secret origins continued to inspire and haunt, offering serenity yet sparking an insatiable curiosity, a fitting lullaby for a world always teetering on the brink of the known and the mysterious. Queen Isabella sat silently upon her ornate throne, her face a tapestry of contemplation and subtle anxiety. The events within the castle had taken an unexpected turn with the arrival of Evelina, a serene yet enigmatic figure whose influence seemed to grow exponentially with each passing day. It wasn't the first time Isabella witnessed the fickle nature of court favor, yet this time felt profoundly different. Evelina's presence was eerily captivating, and her knowledge of courtly affairs appeared vast and unchallenged. She wove through the noble circles with a grace and firmness that seemed unsettlingly natural, and even the king had taken to seeking her counsel on matters that once fell squarely within Isabella's domain. The queen summoned her most trusted advisor, Lord Berengar. He had served the crown for decades and was a bastion of wisdom and loyalty. As the night stretched its shadowed fingers across the castle, they met in the secluded confines of the queen's chamber. "My queen, you seem troubled," Berengar observed, bowing slightly as he entered. "Indeed, my old friend," Isabella replied, gesturing for him to take a seat by the crackling hearth. "You are aware of the changes afoot, the whispers of power shifting like sands within our court. Evelina's influence seems to spread unchecked, and I find myself grappling with the tides." Berengar nodded solemnly. "The times are indeed changing, but influence waxes and wanes. You must remember the respect and love you have earned over the years." Isabella sighed. "True. Yet I cannot shake the feeling that Evelina's rise is more than a courtly episode. It feels as if there is an unseen hand guiding her ascent." Berengar considered the queen's words carefully, then spoke. "There may be more to Evelina than meets the eye. Perhaps she brings with her secrets or ambitions hidden beneath her placid exterior. We must tread carefully yet firmly. We must devise a plan," Isabella responded, her gaze steely with determination. "A plan to uncover whatever mysteries she harbors and restore order within the court." And the advisor nodded, the firelight casting a dance of shadows across his face. "I shall inquire discreetly among those who cater to the less visible corners of our society. Information often hides in the most unlikely of places, my queen." "Wes," Isabella agreed, "and I shall observe Evelina closely. We must be vigilant, for our actions must not betray our intentions prematurely." With their course outlined, the queen and her advisor parted ways, each tasked with unraveling the mystique surrounding the newcomer, whose very aura seemed to reshape the balance of power within the castle walls. The days passed, and Isabella watched Evelina with a keen and discerning eye, noting her interactions and the subtle way she seemed to affect those around her. The men and women of the court found themselves confiding in her, almost as if compelled by some unseen force. Berengar returned with news of his inquiries. "My queen, it seems Evelina arrived under extraordinary circumstances, having come from a land far beyond our borders, a place frequented by few of our traders or emissaries. And what of her origins?" Isabella pressed. "There are whispers," Berengar continued, "of a lineage entwined with ancient lore, a heritage that speaks of wisdom guarded by the ages." The queen considered this revelation carefully. Ancient lore. That would explain the enthrallment she seems to weave. Yet how does she harness it here, in our present? "I cannot be certain," Berengar admitted. "But if she indeed commands forces from the annals of time, we must determine how they influence her presence now." Isabella felt the weight of uncertainty. Was Evelina a mere courtly prodigy, or something far more complex? Could her influence stem from a realm closer to mysticism than Isabella had ever entertained? She resolved to delve deeper. One evening, the queen sought Evelina's company, eager to understand the woman behind the whispers. They conversed amicably, and Isabella found herself drawn to Evelina's apparent sincerity and depth of thought. Yet even amidst pleasantries, Isabella detected traces of guardedness, a subtle hesitance that piqued her curiosity further. Evelina's eyes, windows to her enigma, appeared both ancient and prescient. As weeks unfolded, Isabella perceived an opportunity during the grand equinox celebration. Court tradition hailed such occasions as times when fortunes could be secretly discerned and alliances realigned. The castle hall glowed with celebratory brilliance, its occupants adorned in their finest splendor. Isabella, ever regal, watched as Evelina moved among the guests, poised yet unassuming. As the evening matured, Isabella approached Evelina, engaging her in conversation. The night deepened, and as the moon ascended its celestial stage, Isabella wove subtlety into inquiry, touching upon topics that skirted the boundary of familiarity and mystery. Evelina, sensing the queen's probing, met her curiosity with a response tinged with both charm and caution. "My queen, life often weaves intricate patterns, seldom discernible to those caught within the weave. Only those who dare look beyond find understanding." Isabella smiled, realizing she danced with a master of courtly dialect. Yet within Evelina's response lay a glimmer of insight. "Perhaps," Isabella replied softly, Yet what do such patterns augur for those who must govern the present within their sway?" Their conversation continued, and by its end, Isabella had set in motion a prelude to understanding what lay beneath the surface of Evelina's mesmerizing presence. The steps ahead involved risk, yet without them, the equilibrium within the court might forever tilt. Thus the queen, armed with both patience and resolve, embarked upon a path fraught with cryptic charms and unraveling truths. And as her eyes swept the faces of her court, she wondered, not for the first time, about the true nature of power and its ability to pivot upon a single enigma. The alliance between mystery and intrigue deepened, yet peace prevailed, a gentle balm to any who sought solace. And within the castle's storied halls, Queen Isabella quietly reclaimed her place, and her quest continued, draped in the quiet elegance of intrigue. The grand ballroom of the palace was a testament to elegance and excess. A steampunk orchestra played lilting melodies, the sound of violins and mechanical drums creating a mesmerizing backdrop that echoed through the high vaulted ceilings. The visiting dignitaries, in their finest attire, moved together in intricate patterns across the polished marble floor, their shadows mixing with the flickering hues of gaslight chandeliers. Queen Alara stood at the edge of the ballroom, a figure of regal composure and grace. Her eyes scanned the room, noting each alliance being forged with a nod or a whisper. The delicate dance of politics wove through the air, invisible threads winding tighter with each passing moment. Evelina, a strategic rival and yet an unlikely confidant of the queen, was seated nearby, her keen gaze following the queen's movements closely. Evelina had always known how to move within the halls of power without drawing undue attention to herself, and her presence here tonight was no different. As the courtly dancers swirled, so began a subtler, more dangerous dance. A battle of glances and veiled words wove between Alara and Evelina. Their eyes met across the crowd, a silent conversation filled with both respect and a rivalry that simmered beneath the surface. "Your Majesty," Evelina began as she elegantly approached, her voice barely a whisper above the music. I see the kingdom prospers under your watchful eye tonight. The grand ball is as enchanting as ever. But the queen offered a faint smile, inclining her head gracefully. Indeed, Evelina, she replied, her tone measured and cool. Prosperity is the facade behind which we hide deeper intentions, is it not? Evelina chuckled softly, her eyes never leaving Elara's. Facade, perhaps, but an artful one. Much like our dances tonight, Elara nodded, acknowledging both the compliment and the caution in Evelina's words. Tell me, she continued, her curiosity piqued, what do you see when you look at our esteemed guests? Evelina glanced around the room, her expression still within the confines of politeness, yet her mind showing depths of consideration. Allies, rivals, some still choosing where to stand, she said. With their own agendas, much like you and I. Elara's laughter was soft and melodious, a sound more akin to the chime of porcelain than mirth. And to think, tonight we tempt fate with these orchestral mechanics, she noted, gesturing subtly towards the steampunk band, whose music kept the atmosphere charged with an intoxicating allure. Their conversation, though seemingly casual, was laden with subtext. The power plays within the kingdom were reflected in every interaction, every nuanced phrase exchanged between Evelina and Elara. They were the true ballet in this dance of shadows, unseen yet pivotal, shaping the destiny of those around them. As the night continued, the music's tempo quickened. Reflecting the rising tension in the room, the dancers moved with greater urgency, their footsteps mirroring the quickened hearts of spectators and partakers alike. Amidst this careful choreography, Evelina sensed an opening. There are rumors, Your Majesty, of new alliances forming beyond our borders, Evelina said, watching Elara's reaction intently. Rumors often pave the way to truth, the queen responded, arching an eyebrow delicately. But I'm certain you are more than informed. There was both accusation and acknowledgement in her voice. Evelina remained unflustered. Perhaps we might share certain truths then, in mutual benefit. Elara considered the proposition, her mind a whirlwind of calculations. A tango we must navigate with care. Evelina, she responded. The subtlety of dance, after all, is in the secrets kept hidden. The evening unfolded like the pages of a carefully crafted novel, each glance, each whispered word a line in the signature of political artistry. By the hour's end, the dignitaries took their leave, still caught up in a haze of music and veiled intentions. Under the guise of harmony, Queen Elara and Evelina knew the dances they performed were anything but. Theirs was a game where shadows whispered secrets and power was the ultimate prize. For now they held their cards, silently weaving their strategies in the aftermath of a dance of shadows. King Edgar sat in his chamber, the room dimly lit by the flickering light of the hearth. The dance of shadows on the walls mirrored the turmoil in his heart. Despite the peace that reigned over his realm, a discord had found its way into his soul, and his dreams offered him no sanctuary. They were haunted by visions of shifting faces and ghostly whispers. In the heart of this disquiet lay Evelina, whose presence was like a siren's song, pulling him into uncharted waters. Her grace and mystery had stirred emotions in Edgar that he had long thought buried. It was a fire that both warmed and threatened to consume him, though his heart leaned toward the enchantment Evelina brought into his life. His mind was shackled by the demands of his duty. To be a king was to be an anchor to his people, a beacon of stability amid the tumultuous seas of desire and obligation. Edgar realized the delicate balance that strung together power, desire, and duty had been disturbed, and guidance was needed. The king summoned his wisest sages, hoping their counsel would illuminate the fog that clouded his judgment. These sages were not merely advisors, they were the keepers of the kingdom's ancient wisdom, the architects of its history. History should be peaceful, muttered the eldest sage, a man whose face was as furrowed as the scrolls he pored over. Like a tapestry telling tales of bravery, love, and wisdom, a perfect lullaby for those who would find comfort in rest. Yet Edgar knew that history, much like his own predicament, was rarely so accommodating. It was often steeped in struggle and conflict, a testament to the choices made by those who stood where he stood now. To choose desire over duty could unravel all we have built, Your Highness, cautioned another sage, his voice like the rustle of old parchment. Yet to ignore the heart brings its own shadows. In the silence that followed, Edgar understood his dilemma was one that had been faced by many before him. His reign, his legacy, hung in the balance. But within that equilibrium was the realization that his heart was as much a part of the kingdom as his crown. He could no longer separate his own desires from the sovereignty he wielded. Evelina, with her laughter like rippling water, had awakened something within him, a part that sang for life beyond order and duty. She was a foreigner in his court, bringing tales of lands untouched by the rigidness his own kingdom often espoused. Her narratives were filled with the wonder of stars more radiant than gold, oceans deeper than introspection, and lands where the heart led and the feet merely followed. Her presence was an anomaly in a place where protocol meant everything. Yet Edgar found himself drawn inexorably to her. Her difference was her allure. His advisors, the very keepers of his history, knew well the peril such enchantment brought. A passion, they warned, it can ignite kingdoms and end them in ashes. It is a force as ancient as it is unpredictable. Yet despite their cautioning words, Edgar found no satisfaction in thoughts of a legacy built on deprivation. He yearned for the courage to entwine passion with purpose, to forge a future where both the crown and the heart could find union. The moment demanded reflection. Edgar journeyed to the royal gardens, a tranquil sanctuary where the chaos of court could be forgotten. There, he walked among the quietly enduring trees and the softly fragrant flowers. It was a place where past kings had sought solace, their whispers intertwining with the rustling leaves, beneath an ancient oak, the very tree under which his father had taught him the tenets of leadership. Edgar knelt, seeking guidance from the spirits of those who came before. Great men are not measured by their restraint alone, he voiced, though whether to himself, the tree, or the ghosts of his predecessors he could not say, but by the bridges they build from the stones of their predicament. With these words, a peculiar peace settled over him, the shadows in his mind retreating as if the light of clarity poured through the cracks. Edgar rose, resolved to neither deny his desire nor abandon his duty, but to let them exist side by side in a realm shaped by both. Returning to his chambers, Edgar called for Evelina. Her entrance was like the first touch of spring after a harsh winter, a promise of renewal. And as her gaze met his, Edgar sensed she, too, understood the depth of their connection amid the complexities it bore. Evelina, Edgar began, his voice steady. In you, I have rediscovered a part of myself I thought lost. In our kingdom of rules and obligations, you've shown me colors beyond what tradition paints. Yet, this discovery must not topple what we've built. Together, perhaps we can forge a path anew, one where the heart has its place within the throne. Evelina nodded, an enigmatic smile playing upon her lips. It is said even the stars align when the balance of the universe is found. Let us create such harmony. Thus, at this juncture where reality and dreams converged, King Edgar embarked on a journey both eternal and unprecedented. In welcoming the duality of duty and desire, he was not merely ensuring the prosperity of his reign, but crafting a new narrative for his people. One where the heart, like the mind, had a voice in history's tale. In the annals of his kingdom, it would be written not as a time of conflict, but as the reign where love became as integral as law. A time when the whispers of the past wove a new hymn, a more profound lullaby perfect for those who longed for peace in sleep and woke with hearts afire. In a land where the sun dipped low behind clock towers and steam danced like wraiths in the twilight, the kingdom flourished under the rule of a kind and curious king. His was a realm cradled in time, where the gentle hum of progress met the tranquility of tradition. The kingdom's clockwork heart pulsed in rhythm, with the steady tick of brass gears and the whisper of steam valves, releasing their breath into the atmosphere. The lords of the mechanism, wise and seasoned in the arts of engineering and alchemy, held council in a grand hall where arches of wrought iron spiraled majestically into high ceilings adorned with murals of cog and wheel. Their knowledge was as vast as their domain, yet their teachings spoke not of conquest but of harmony, a delicate balance between progress and nature. One evening, as twilight cast its soft blush over the realm, a group of visiting aristocrats arrived, their garments shimmering like woven night sky under the gas lamps that lined the royal promenade. They came bearing tales from distant lands, places where mechanical wonders soared through azure skies and deep beneath the earth, crafted by hands both skilled and inspired. Their stories captivated the court, weaving a tapestry of visions where the old met the new in a dance as old as time itself. Among these innovations were flying machines, sailing on currents of air, and devices that harnessed the power of steam to forge new paths and possibilities. Intrigued by these wondrous accounts, the king, a wise and benign ruler, summoned the lords of the mechanism to his court. Together, they envisioned a kingdom resplendent in its embrace of steampunk innovation, a realm where gentility and technology coexisted in peaceful symphony. The king, inspired by these tales, decided to incorporate these mechanical marvels into the very fabric of his rule, envisioning a future where his people could thrive in the gentle embrace of technological advancement. Lady Evelina, a courtier of considerable charm and wit, keenly observed the mesmerized audience. She saw within these devices not just their functional brilliance, but the potential to strengthen her influence over the court. With every gear and lever, she spun tales that entranced the courtiers, drawing them ever closer to her radiant persona. With a deft touch, she curated displays of these wonders, hosting salons of thought and gatherings of invention. Through her orchestrations, the court danced to a new rhythm, each step synchronized with the mechanical wonders she set before them. The kingdom, in its newfound prosperity, embraced this technological enlightenment. Streets were lit by crystalline bulbs powered by natural gas, illuminating pathways where carriages rolled silently on springs and pistons. Public gardens bloomed beneath automated mists, tended by mechanical caretakers who labored tirelessly but gently. Lady Evelina's star continued to rise, her influence threading through every corner of the court's tapestry. She knew that these mechanical wonders were more than mere curiosities. They were instruments of power, a testament to the transformative magic that lay at the intersection of art and science. Thus unfolded the peaceful tale of a kingdom where the ideals of harmony and innovation, balance and progress intertwined under the guiding hand of benevolence. As evening settled, the skies above the kingdom filled with the gentle hum of airships drifting like serene clouds, casting shadows that danced upon the cobblestone streets below. For here, in this melding of time, honored tradition and mechanical marvels, the kingdom found not only prosperity, but a serene peace, a dream in which to rest easy beneath the watchful gaze of the ever-ticking stars. In the kingdom of Illyria, nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, stood a magnificent castle renowned for its serene beauty. The castle's gardens sprawled like a sea of enchantment, where every plant and blossom seemed to tell its own story. Among these exquisite gardens, Princess Elara often found solace. Elara, with her flowing golden hair and eyes as deep as the ocean, was admired not just for her beauty but for her inquisitive nature. Her curiosity often took her to hidden corners of the castle grounds. On a particularly serene day, while wandering deeper than ever before through the verdant pathways lined with roses and lilacs, Elara stumbled upon a secluded part of the garden she had never seen. There, partially hidden by a curtain of ivy, stood an old stone archway. Beyond it lay a path less traveled. Her heart filled with a sense of adventure, Elara stepped through, finding herself in a courtyard filled with an unusual assortment of metalwork and crafting tools. Tinkering noises echoed gently, piquing her interest. In the center of this hidden enclave stood a modest workshop, and within, a woman meticulously working on delicate machines. Evelina, a skilled artisan rumored to be a descendant of ancient tinkerers, was the keeper of this little wonderland. Princess Elara observed Evelina with fascination. The workshop was filled with curious devices, each a marvel of mechanical ingenuity. The gleam of polished metal and the soft hum of clockwork filled the air. Elara's presence was soon noticed, and Evelina greeted her with a warm but knowing smile. Princess Elara, Evelina spoke, wiping oil from her hands. I wondered when you might find my hidden corner of the world. Elara was immediately intrigued by both Evelina and her creations. These machines, they're unlike anything I've seen. Are they magical? In a sense, Evelina replied, guiding Elara to a table displaying intricate automatons. They're the blend of art and science, imagination and reality. One automaton, a small bird made of silver and gold, suddenly came to life, flapping its wings and filling the air with enchanting trills. Elara was entranced. The allure of these mechanical marvels was undeniable, but so was a subtle sense of mystery surrounding Evelina herself. There was something otherworldly about the woman, an aura that hinted at secrets waiting to be uncovered. Days turned into weeks, and Elara found herself returning to Evelina's workshop to discover more about the machines and the person who crafted them. Each visit unveiled new wonders: a delicate carousel of miniature horses, an ornate clock that played symphonies when the hour struck, and a mechanical garden that seemed to bloom with the touch of a hand. But Alara's curiosity about Evelina's origins and her intentions with these machines grew alongside her admiration. What purpose did these creations serve? Were they mere curiosities, or did they hold some greater purpose? One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky with hues of purple and crimson, Evelina shared a tale. Long ago, my ancestors were part of a guild of master craftsmen dedicated to creating devices that could both astonish and aid the world. But with time, their knowledge faded, leaving only whispers of their craft. Alara listened intently, her heart and mind caught in the weave of tales. She realized that Evelina's true intentions might be linked to reviving this ancient legacy, one that held power to change the very fabric of their kingdom. Thus began Alara's quest, not just to understand the magic within the machines, but to delve into the history of Evelina's lineage. She journeyed across Illyria, visiting libraries filled with tomes of forgotten lore, consulting wise sages, and whispering through the walls of time, where secrets were kept. Her journeys brought her back to Evelina, who, touched by Alara's passion and tenacity, revealed the deeper purpose of her creations. These devices, Evelina whispered as she unveiled an extraordinary automaton, a guardian that shimmered with ethereal light, are meant to protect, to guard against a threat that has long been forgotten but is destined to return. With this revelation, Alara understood that her quest was only just beginning. Side by side with Evelina, she set forth to awaken these dormant protectors, ensuring that the kingdom of Illyria would remain the serene haven it had always been. Thus, the tendrils of history intertwined with the present, binding their destinies through the quiet power of the past and the whispered hopes of the future. The story of Princess Alara and Evelina's enchanting automaton workshop soon became a cherished legend in Illyria, a tale of curiosity, friendship, and the magic that can be found when worlds of the mechanical and natural converge. It was a history that spoke gently to the heart, soothing the spirit like the lullaby of a secret garden as night falls, perfect for easing into dreams. Within the grand, fortified walls of the castle, Lady Evelina's domain was a symphony of creation and innovation. The halls were filled with the gentle hum of gears and the soft whirring of cogs, their rhythmic sounds echoing gently within the stone corridors. Evelina, with her keen mind and artistic soul, had gathered the most talented artisans from across the realm, each a master of their craft. These artisans were the lifeblood of Evelina's dreams, a dream of intricate steampunk marvels, where art met technology in harmonious unison. Their workshop thrived in the shadows, deep within the castle, far from the prying eyes of the court and rivals who might seek to misuse such powerful creations. Evelina's vision was delicate yet profound, to create devices that could alter perception itself, casting ethereal sounds and visuals that would envelop their audience in a captivating embrace. With such tools, alliances could be forged by virtue of wonder and admiration, not force or deceit. Those who experienced the artistry were left enraptured, their hearts and minds swayed by the magnificence they had witnessed. The artisans, under Evelina's meticulous guidance, labored tirelessly at their benches, their hands deftly assembling the myriad components that would give life to these astonishing contrivances. Each device was a unique masterpiece, a blend of gleaming brass, finely ground glass, and silken threads of copper wire wound through the machinations like veins through a living body. At the heart of their creations were tiny, carefully tuned mechanisms that played soundscapes so ethereal they seemed almost supernatural. And these were the lullabies for a peaceful world, akin to the sweet notes of a music box, but layered with the lush depth of a full orchestra. The melodies were crafted to soothe and enchant, carrying with them a whisper of tranquility that promised respite from the turmoil of the world outside. Evelina herself was no mere overseer. With a delicate hand and an eye for detail, she would personally infuse the devices with her own touches of brilliance. It was her influence that made the creations not just functional, but works of art, each one telling its own story through the rhythm of its ticking heart and the glow of its carefully placed lights. History, enveloped in these creations, became a narrative of peace and serenity. With Evelina's vision, the artistry of the past was not one of war and conquest, but a tranquil landscape perfect for contemplation and reflection. Her devices played tales that lulled listeners into deep, restful slumber, carrying them to dreamscapes where history was a gentle stream meandering through verdant fields. One afternoon, as golden light poured through the latticed windows of the workshop, casting intricate patterns on the stone floor, the artisans unveiled their latest masterpiece. This device, a grand composition of swirling metal and glass with inlaid mother of pearl, was perhaps their finest creation yet. When activated, it awakened with a soft hum, and from its core unfurled a visual symphony, a panorama where springtime blossoms cascaded in a soft shower and gentle rains fell over tranquil lakes. The accompanying sound was a serene lullaby, resonating with the harmony of a gentle breeze intertwining with distant birdsong, perfect for soothing restless souls to sleep. The artisans watched in awe as the room transformed, their own creation casting a spell that brought forth the essence of Evelina's dream. It was a testament to what they had achieved together under her guidance, a world where art and technology weaved a tale without words, yet deeply universal in its touch. In those moments, as the ethereal sequence danced about the room, Evelina felt the realization of her vision. What they had crafted was not merely a device of steampunk fantasy, but a portal, a bridge to understanding and peace. The castle, through its corridors and chambers, carried these stories birthed from gears and dreams, and deep within its heart, Lady Evelina and her artisans continued their work, sketching shadows of peace upon the walls of time, inviting all who witnessed their creations to close their eyes and see the beauty within order and calm. Thus the castle, an enclave of dreams and serenity, stood as a beacon of hope. It became known not for the strength of its walls, nor the power of its armaments, but for the quiet artistry of its mechanical lullabies, which made history a perfect melody for sleeping. The chamber was dimly lit, an ambience deliberately cultivated to ensure secrecy and solemnity. Flickering torches lined the walls, casting elongated shadows across the faces of those gathered. This was the Council of Shadows, an assembly of the most clandestine advisors to the realm. King Edgar sat at the head of the table, his regal presence underscored by an expression of doubt. The council had convened in the utmost secrecy, an extraordinary session brought upon by the burgeoning influence of Evelina, a figure who moved like a whisper through the corridors of power. Evelina's influence had grown, becoming the thread of rumors and spectacles. Her charm and cunning made her a subject of admiration and fear. It was said she held the power to turn tides, a claim that King Edgar could not afford to disregard. Revelations of her influence had provoked this strategic debate among his advisors. "We cannot underestimate her," said Sir Gabriel, a knight of keen insight and cautious demeanor. His voice resonated through the chamber. "Her influence is expansive, and unchecked, it could reshape the fabric of our governance." Across the table, Lady Vivian, cloaked in layers of silk, leaned forward. "But have we not seen her generosity? Evelina has brought prosperity to regions long neglected. Her alliances are forged through goodwill and benefit," she defended. The room was divided. The echoes of opinions clashed against the stone walls. Edgar listened, every word etching a heavier burden upon his throne. Lord Richard, an elder statesman with decades of service, spoke next, his voice layered with experience and irony. "Influence can be a double-edged sword, Majesty. What is today's ally can be tomorrow's adversary. Evelina's reach is broad, but is it aligned with our vision?" King Edgar shifted, the shadows around him deep and resonant. "I find myself torn," he confessed finally, breaking the wave of discourse. "Evelina has done much good, yet the whispers of dissent cannot be ignored. In her shade lies both potential and peril," but he paused, looking each member in the eye. "Is my hesitance a sign of wisdom or weakness?" He pondered aloud. The question hung in the air, as perfumed as the smoke rising from burning braziers, lingering, awaiting resolution. The council deliberated late into the night. Some urged immediate action, a containment of her influence to preserve the existing power structure. Others argued for dialogue, engaging Evelina as a partner in progress rather than a fettered rival. In the heart of King Edgar, the whisperings were as persistent as they were conflicting, consuming his thoughts. He was torn between the whisperings of his heart, which resonated with Evelina's vision of a prosperous realm, and the duties demanded by his position, a king first and a dreamer second. As dawn approached, King Edgar realized the weight of leadership, was not merely in decisive action, but in the courage to confront uncertainty. To navigate the complex web of loyalty and leadership, he rose solemnly. "We shall neither embrace nor oppose Evelina outright," he declared amidst the flicker and fade of candlelight. "Instead, we will observe, engage critically, and prepare. For power, like shadows, shifts with the light." But with that, the clandestine session of the Council of Shadows concluded, leaving in its wake a night's worth of unresolved tension, a test of alliances, and an unwritten future. And so it was, in the quiet before dawn, in a chamber bathed in flickering luminescence, that King Edgar's divided counsel would be both his burden and his beacon. The alchemist's lure was spoken of in hushed tones throughout the kingdom, tales of the mysterious alchemist who recently arrived in the court, bearing secrets about Lady Evelina, spread like wildfire. The court was abuzz with anticipation and curiosity as they whispered of the enigmatic figure who had made his way into their peaceful land, one where tranquility reigned supreme, like a gentle lullaby perfect for coaxing even the most anxious minds to sleep. The kingdom, a harmonious blend of rustic simplicity and majestic grandeur, was centered around its illustrious castle. This castle, with its formidable oak doors and spiraling towers, stood as a sentinel of peace and prosperity. The alchemist's entrance came like a breath of strange, exhilarating air into this realm of tranquility. Clad in a cloak of deepest indigo, embroidered with celestial patterns, his presence was both commanding and mysterious. The alchemist was a master of both science and sorcery, his dual expertise astoundingly rare, yet so potent that it ushered curiosity and speculation throughout the court. Who is this alchemist? The courtiers wondered, their curiosity piqued by both his promise of secrets and the veiled history surrounding Lady Evelina, a revered figure in the kingdom known for her grace and wisdom. When the alchemist finally revealed himself, he did so with an air of calm assurance, speaking with a voice that seemed to carry the wisdom of ancient days. "I come with knowledge of Lady Evelina," he announced, "and of events that extend beyond what is known, cloaked in both legend and truth." Lady Evelina, however, remained a figure of mystery. Her past was a tapestry interwoven with hearsay and enigma, a woman whose presence seemed ethereal, almost as if she walked the line between myth and reality. Her beauty was said to be unparalleled, yet it was matched by her intellect and compassion, qualities that had endeared her to the kingdom. As the court gathered to hear what the alchemist had discovered, there was a palpable tension in the air, tinged with excitement and a hint of fear. What secrets could this sorcerer, scientist unravel that were unknown even to those closest to her? The alchemist began to weave his tale, using his knowledge of alchemy and mysticism to paint a picture of Evelina's origins. "She comes," he began, "from a lineage that is both blessed and cursed. Her blood carries the magic of the ancients, a connection to the earth and stars that few possess." A gasps murmured through the assembly as they absorbed his words. Evelina's past, a mosaic cloaked in shadow, now slowly coming into the light. "This magic," the alchemist continued, "is not just innate. It was cultivated and hidden by those who knew its potential and sought to protect her." He paused, his gaze sweeping over the attentive faces before him. "And it is this power that has drawn both allies and foes." The idea of enemies lurking in the shadows sent a shiver through the room. Peace, so carefully maintained, now felt fragile as a fledgling bird. "Lady Evelina," he said reverently, "is a beacon. To some, she represents hope and embodiment of unity. To others, a threat to their power." Amidst this charged atmosphere, Lady Evelina herself sat, taking in the alchemist's revelations with a calm that belied any internal turmoil. She alone seemed unfazed by the unfolding drama, though those close to her knew she absorbed every word. "Fear not," the alchemist assured, addressing both Evelina and the court. "For the intrigues of this world are like the layers of a fine perfume. Complex, yes, but understandable once you know the ingredients." He offered insights into how the fusion of science and sorcery could illuminate pathways to understanding and safeguarding their cherished peace. "It is through this union," he explained, "that we might decipher prophecies entwined with Evelina's fate, sharpening our minds and fortifying our defenses." But the court, lulled by his enigmatic presence, found themselves hanging on to his every word, cradled by the cadences of his speech. "Forego fear," the alchemist seemed to urge them. "Join hands with knowledge and faith, and the future remains bright." A Lady Evelina nodded, acknowledging the alchemist's role in revealing the intertwining of her personal history with the fate of the kingdom. "Let us embrace these truths," she proclaimed, her voice resonant with authority. The kingdom, with all eyes now on Evelina, felt a renewing sense of purpose. Together, they could navigate not only the mysteries of her past, but tread wiser paths for their collective future. With these revelations, a renewed spirit of unity swept through the court. Peace was their cradle and their banner, and even knowledge cloaked in mystery could be wielded as a tool for harmony. Thus, the alchemist, the lady, and the kingdom alike embraced a tale that was still unfolding, secure in their shared resolve to protect their serene existence. In the grand halls of Adoria, where the whispers of nobility echo off velvet, draped walls, and secrets are traded as swiftly as gold coins, the art of courtly intrigue is the very air one breathes. Lady Evelina, with her striking auburn locks and eyes that danced with a mischievous glint, had long been regarded as one of the court's most formidable players. The kingdom was in a delicate state, teetering on the brink of upheaval but miraculously held in balance by Lady Evelina's deft maneuvering. Her charm was renowned, a powerful tool that she wielded as expertly as a knight brandishes a sword. In these candle-lit gatherings, where shadows flickered against ancient stone walls, Lady Evelina's words floated like an intoxicating melody, weaving magic in the air. Alliances were the currency of power, and as the seasons changed from lush spring to golden autumn, the winds of loyalty and ambition blew unpredictably. Lords and ladies, resplendent in their finery, found themselves unwittingly drawn into Evelina's orbit, captivated by her luminescent presence and keen intelligence. Her most audacious endeavor yet began with a seemingly simple soiree. Under the soft glow of chandeliers, figures draped in silks and brocades mingled, their laughter mingling with the soft strains of lute and harp. The wine flowed freely, loosening tongues and blurring the stringent lines that separated allies from rivals. Evelina moved through the crowd like a shadow, her intentions obscured by layers of politeness and feigned modesty. She approached Lord Harland, a man known for his quick temper and sharper tongue, as a knight would approach a pawn on a chessboard. "My lord, how fares your estate this season?" she inquired, her voice a sweet balm. "It fares well enough under the circumstances," Harland replied gruffly, unable to completely mask his curiosity at her uncharacteristic interest. "I am glad to hear it," she smiled, a secret hidden within those lips. "I wonder if you might join me for a quiet word later. There are matters I believe might greatly interest you." And so the night unfolded, with Lady Evelina drawing foreigners and foes alike into her web. To Lady Beatrice, she whispered promises of shared visions for the future, casting a net of camaraderie where there before had been only competition. To Sir Geoffrey, whose heart hid rival sympathies, she shared laughter and tales that spoke of brighter tomorrows. Each move was deliberate, like a master tactician playing out a game of chess under the watchful eyes of 100 witnesses. The inexplicable charm of Evelina's presence began to turn rivals into allies, blurring once distinctive lines of loyalty. Days turned into weeks, and the court's atmosphere grew dense with suspense. The intrigues reached a fever pitch as alliances shifted beneath the surface. The king's most trusted advisor found that orders whispered in confidence had somehow found their way into the hands of perceived enemies. Yet, nothing could be proven, for Lady Evelina's hand was so subtly applied. In this peaceful yet precarious game, Lady Evelina thrived, her influence spreading like the warm sun across the golden fields of Adoria. Rivals tiptoed a dance of accompaniment around her, uncertain whether her touch meant salvation or downfall. Yet, amid scheming courtiers and clandestine treaties, no swords were drawn, and no blood stained the marble floors. History, while filled with tension, unfolded gently within those walls, perfect for the peaceful dreams of those who knew its secrets. Lady Evelina's fervor and fineness, while obscured to some, ensured that each passage of power was as smooth as the finest silk. This was her masterpiece, the landscape of intrigue painted in hues of soft candlelight, where reality and illusion wove together so seamlessly that even the stars above might pause to watch and wonder. The serene halls of the royal court, where once only laughter and joyous banter echoed, have slowly metamorphosed into a tapestry of whispers and intrigue. The mistress of secrets, a shadowy individual known to a select few, has been the topic of hushed conversations. Her identity cloaked in mystery, she weaves through the corridors of power like a ghost, Lady Evelina, a character once thought to be as transparent as a crystal clear stream, now finds herself the subject of intense scrutiny. Her past, a seemingly open book filled with acts of charity and grace, is being painstakingly unraveled by the Queen's spies. Each page they turn reveals threads of complexity and layers of nuance. The House of Celestia, where Lady Evelina resides, stands as an embodiment of peace and prosperity. However, within its dormant stone walls lies a fortress of secrets. These secrets are being slowly dismantled by the diligent efforts of the Queen's spies who delve deep into history, piecing together a past that had long been thought to be peaceful and perfect. The night's tranquility is often broken by clandestine meetings held in the hidden alcoves of the palace. Figures adorned in the shadows of their cloaks quietly exchange whispers of espionage, aware that their alliances may shift with the slightest of breezes. The Queen's spies, ever watchful, catalogue each conversation, every nuance, and tangible sign of betrayal or loyalty. A court once united under a single banner now faces a jigsaw puzzle, one of secrecy and silent skirmishes, where each piece unveils realities that many wish to remain buried. Those who were thought to be staunch allies find their allegiances questioned, and surprising alliances are unearthed, casting doubt on the very foundation of trust. Lady Evelina walks through this minefield, her every step measured and calculated. Her history, once thought mundane and serene, contains interwoven connections with individuals of dubious repute. As the spies peel back the layers of Eunice's past, they find her interlaced with merchants who often engage in trade under the moon's veil and diplomats with shared secrets behind locked doors. Yet, amid the secrecy and espionage, there's a peculiar sense of calm in Lady Evelina's demeanor. She seems to embrace the unfolding revelations, her composed smile a defiance against the court's uncertainties. Her relationship with the mistress of secrets perplexes the spies further. Is she a confidant, an informant, or perhaps something the court dare not imagine? The court, a previous bastion of stability, now teeters on the brink of fracture, with fault lines barely visible beneath the polished surface. Each day brings newer challenges, further testing the resilience of bonds and the truth behind every hushed accusation, as more of Lady Evelina's history is laid bare, including scores settled through diplomacy intricately masked as friendship. The court continues to grapple with a deepening web of revelations. In the shifting sands of loyalty and deceit, Lady Evelina emerges as a complex figure whose actions are both questioned and revered. She stands as a beacon of agency in a world where silence often speaks louder than the bravest of proclamations. As dusk transforms into dawn, the court's tapestry of secrets promises to unravel further, ensuring history remains ever so imperfect, a sequence designed to lull the present into a sense of somnolence, rich with tales perfect for sleeping. Once upon a time, in a kingdom woven with rich history and enduring legacy, there existed a queen, Isabella, renowned not just for her grace and beauty, but also for her sharp intellect and strategic prowess. Much like the illustrious game of chess she often indulged in, her reign was filled with moves of cunning and precision, a dance of diplomacy and power that kept her kingdom prosperous and safe. In the glittering halls of her castle, adorned with tapestries of past conquests and peaceful alliances, Queen Isabella found herself embroiled in a match against an unseen adversary, the beguiling sorceress Evelina, whose spellbinding influences threatened the very fabric of their peaceful existence. Evelina, with her silver tongue and whispered promises, had begun to weave her enchantments, spreading seeds of discord and unrest that threatened to fracture the once unified realm. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Queen Isabella knew that she must take decisive action. Much like the opening moves of a well-played chess match, she needed a gambit that would reclaim their prominence and protect the land from falling under Evelina's sinister spell. Isabella gathered her court, a collection of loyal knights, wise advisors, and trusted confidants in the grand hall. The air was thick with anticipation as she outlined her strategy, each move carefully considered, mirroring the pieces on a chessboard. She envisioned her kingdom as a game, with each village, town, and castle a square that must be safeguarded. Faithful allies, she began, her voice carrying the regal authority she was known for. When we stand on the brink of shadow, where the light of our heritage meets the encroaching void, Evelina's influence is like a noxious vine, creeping and coiling. We must prune it before it takes root, and restore the balance. Her words, carefully chosen, resonated through the hall, igniting the resolve within her council. Her first move was to secure the loyalty of neighboring kingdoms, forging alliances through subtle diplomacy and mutual aid. Isabella knew that unity with neighboring rulers would create an unbreakable chain, a defense Evelina could not shatter. She dispatched envoys adorned with gifts and promises of friendship, knitting together a tapestry of solidarity. Simultaneously, she turned her attention internally, ensuring that her people felt seen and protected. She traveled the breadth of her kingdom in a gesture reminiscent of the knight's sweeping arc, listening to the concerns and hopes of her subjects. With every visit, she left behind a trail of trust and gratitude, a fortress built not of stone, but of faith. As these preparations unfolded, Evelina grew wary. Her enchantments, though powerful, were subtly but surely countered by Isabella's strategy. But the queen knew that stagnation could be as dangerous as recklessness. She needed a final, daring move to unseat Evelina, a queen's gambit on the grandest scale. In a bold stroke, Queen Isabella proposed a gathering, a grand assembly of all the land's leaders, scholars, and mystical beings. It was a gamble, inviting so many under one roof, with Evelina's presence an almost certainty. Her advisors cautioned against it, but Isabella was resolute. A contest of wits and power would decide the fate of the realm. The day arrived, and the castle was abuzz with activity. Lords and ladies, sorcerers and philosophers, each played their part in the unfolding game. Eveline arrived, shrouded in an aura of otherworldly allure. Her eyes sparkled with cunning, yet undisguised was her surprise at the gathering Isabella had orchestrated. Undeterred, the queen took her place beside her adversary. The two women, forces of nature unto themselves, engaged in a verbal sparring match, flashes of insight and persuasion exchanged like knights challenging across a board. Isabella, with each carefully crafted sentence, sought to dismantle the facade of Evelina's influence, exposing the hollow promises for all to see. Then, with a final ripple of energy in the room, Isabella made her move. She invoked the ancient right of truth, a magical contract binding all to honesty within the assembly. Evelina, trapped by her own words, could not hide behind illusions any longer. The truth was unveiled, and her power, which thrived on deceit, crumbled like a tower of sand. The gambit, audacious and bold, had succeeded. The realm now saw Evelina not as the savior she painted herself, but as the manipulative sorceress attempting to claim power in disguise. Her influence waned, and she retreated, defeated but not without respect for Isabella's strategic brilliance. In the aftermath, the kingdom basked in renewed harmony. Alliances strengthened by shared truth and understanding. Queen Isabella, much like when she closed a victorious game of chess, surveyed her domain with satisfaction and resolve, knowing her gambit had preserved the peace and prosperity of her beloved kingdom. In the quiet solitude of her chambers, Isabella returned to her chessboard, every piece a reminder of the delicate balance she maintained. The lessons of her strategic ballet against Evelina etched in history, a tale of power plays and regality that would be remembered in stories and dreams, guiding the slumber of generations to come. Within mist-laden courtyards, echoes of past monarchs weave stories into stone as King Edgar walks silently, lost in contemplation. His regal figure is cloaked in the fog's ethereal embrace, the whispers of ancestors entwining with the swirling mist. The hallowed ground upon which he treads is saturated with the essence of history, and each footfall echoes the steps of rulers whose legacies transcended time. Echoes of the mist, they call these musings, a dialogue between the ancient and the present. The ancient castle, draped in layers of time-worn elegance, stands as a testament to the grandeur of epochs long past. Its walls, once vibrant with the clamorous proclamations of sovereignty, now resonate with tranquil murmurs of sagacity. King Edgar, a monarch bearing the weight of both present decisions and historical scrutiny, finds solace in these echoes. Here the teachings of his forebears, preserved in the very stone, whisper secrets buried beneath the passage of years. As he ponders these distant voices, Edgar contemplates the utility of historical wisdom amid the present turbulence enveloping his kingdom. Outside this serene enclave, the world teeters on the precipice of chaos, a land grappling with strife, hungering for peace. His mind dances with 1,000 questions, all seeking answers in the annals etched into the very bones of his kingdom. The courtyard, veiled in a dense tapestry of mist, serves as a canvas for the artistry of memory. In this sacred space, the shadows themselves appear animated by the truths of history, casting delicate impressions upon King Edgar's consciousness. They dance, those shadows, weaving a tapestry of fables illuminated by noble exploits and lessons learned in eras vast and varied. Edgar pauses near a worn stone bench nestled beside an ivy-cloaked wall. Here, the whispers crescendo, a chorus of counsel offered by long-departed sovereigns. He closes his eyes, surrendering to the lullaby of history. The mist, a gentle breath upon his skin, envelops him in a serenity he can seldom find in waking hours. In this ephemeral embrace, history unfolds. King Edgar envisions a vibrant tapestry of kings and queens, their voices melding with the symphony of the mist. They speak of battles waged and treaties forged, of love sung in ballads and vendettas wrought in steel. Despite the din of temporal disparity, an enduring theme emerges. History, though colored with discord and triumph, remains a cradle of peaceful wisdom, perfect for nurturing sleep. As his senses drift into the embrace of slumber, Edgar wonders at the paradox of history, a saga defined by conflict yet imbued with tranquility. Each monarch who speaks is a teacher offering words become lullabies, tracing the contours of his dreams. In this realm shaped by echoes, Edgar discovers clarity amid the chaos, a vision for peace that might kindle hope anew in his troubled land. The mist deepens as Edgar rests upon the bench, comforted by the narratives unfolding in his mind. In slumber, he walks among the shadows of kings and queens, hand in hand with his ancestors. He learns anew that history is not merely a chronicle of past deeds, but an eternal dialogue, a living testament gently guiding those who listen. As daylight crests eroding towers and the mist begins its slow retreat, King Edgar wakes rejuvenated. Light falls upon the courtyard, casting long shadows, a reminder of dreams realized and wisdom gained. Edgar rises, illuminated by history's glow, determined to weave his own story into the enduring fabric of time. With each step echoing the quiet resolve gleaned amidst whispers, he strides forward to meet the dawn, a king at peace with both past and present. In the land of Aetheria, the tale of Princess Alara and the enchantress Evelina unfolded during a time of peace, a peaceful narrative woven into the tapestry of their world. The kingdom thrived under the reign of King Alden, Alara's father, whose wisdom and compassion ensured prosperity and tranquility for his realm. Princess Alara was known throughout Aetheria for her intelligence and grace. Yet, as with many royal daughters, her life was charted before her. From the etiquette she must follow to the alliances she was expected to form through marriage. Her days were suffused with lessons on diplomacy, art, and history, often leading to introspective nights where dreams of personal ambitions danced in her mind, separate from her royal duties. Evelina, conversely, lived in the serene outskirts of the kingdom, dwelling in a cottage that was both charming and mysterious. The tales of her enchantments were whispered among the townsfolk, some with awe and others with suspicion. Known primarily as a skilled enchantress whose potions and spells were unmatched, she was also a seeker of knowledge, delving into ancient tomes and scrolls that detailed arcane lore. Their worlds were destined to overlap by a twist of fate. On a day bursting with spring's vibrance, Princess Alara, curious and eager to explore beyond the confines of the castle, decided to visit the surrounding villages. It was during this humble expedition, amidst a bustling market infused with joyous laughter and the scent of baked bread, that Alara happened upon Evelina. They met under a canopy of wild roses, the fairy-like atmosphere enhancing the budding connection between the princess and the enchantress. Evelina, intrigued by Alara's keen curiosity and unaffected demeanor, suggested a walk through her lush garden, where the flowers seemed to bloom under her watchful gaze. In the quietude of this secret haven, the barriers built by societal expectations began to erode, allowing them to share stories of their lives. Alara spoke of the burdens of the crown and her yearning for self-discovery, while Evelina recounted her journey as an enchantress, dispelling myths about her craft and revealing her aspirations that extended beyond casting spells. As their friendship deepened, Alara found solace in Evelina's wisdom. The enchantress's perspective on life, one that embraced freedom and individuality, inspired Alara to pursue her ambitions without fear of judgment. In return, Evelina saw the world through Alara's eyes, the beauty of duty and the strength found in standing for one's people. Their camaraderie, while unexpected to the outside world, became a source of empowerment. Evelina's dreams of exploring lands beyond Aetheria found root in Alara's own desires to understand her kingdom beyond the palace walls. They made plans together, plotting adventures and mapping out possibilities that had previously seemed unreachable in their solitary lives. Through shared laughter and midnight talks under starlit skies, Alara discovered the surprising facets of Evelina's character. She was not merely an enchantress, but a woman of vibrant spirit with dreams and desires akin to those of the princess. Evelina's magic was not confined to spells but extended to the way she viewed the world, filled with wonder, hope, and the courage to shape her own destiny. Their story, one of two heroines navigating life's complexities, extended beyond youthful dreams. It was a testament to the power of friendship, the kind that empowers one to rewrite the narrative penned by tradition, enabling them to craft lives as vibrant and varied as the gardens they cherished together. Alara and Evelina's bond became a symbol of strength and unity, showing the kingdom that even in times of peace, the most profound changes can blossom from friendship and the pursuit of shared dreams. Their journey was a gentle reminder that destiny, while mysterious, can often be shaped by the choices we make and the people we choose to journey with, creating a tranquil history perfect for the gentle lull of sleep and dreams. Evelina and Queen Isabella stood at the zenith of their ambitions, each a master of intricate schemes weaving through the kingdom. The court was abuzz with rumors, whispers of plots and promises that seemed to glide through the halls like specters at dusk. Evelina, once a humble courtier, had ascended through a series of alliances forged in the shadows, her influence slowly encircling those in power like ivy creeping up a stone wall. Queen Isabella, regal and cunning, had carefully navigated her court with diplomacy and veiled threats, always maintaining a precarious balance of favors and obligations. In the grand halls, where chandeliers swung like shimmering constellations above, the air was thick with anticipation. The courtiers, dressed in their finest silks and adorned with jewels, engaged in superficial pleasantries, each with an ear turned toward any whispered secret that might give them an edge. The chessboard of power lay before them, pieces placed just so, waiting for the hand that would send the game into chaos or clarity. Evelina was no mere player. She saw herself as the artisan of destiny, crafting paths where none seemed possible. Her demeanor was calm, her laughter light and charming, but beneath the serene exterior lay a mind meticulously calculating, always 3 steps ahead. She had carefully planted seeds of discord among the king's advisors, quietly steering their loyalty towards her vision of the future. Queen Isabella, aware of the undercurrents tugging at her sovereignty, countered with a subtlety born of years commanding respect and fear. Her machinations were woven with a delicate thread, each move deliberate and devastating in its precision. She revered the power of perception, the ability to turn a slight smile into a weapon as sharp as any blade. Her court was her theater, each audience both a charm and a challenge. The High Council, an assemblage of the kingdom's most formidable minds and might, was convened to address the arising tensions. The chamber, with its ornate decor and echoes of historical deliberations, became the arena where Evelina and Queen Isabella would test the bounds of their influence. The air was tense, yet filled with an energy that could only come from the collision of such formidable wills. Evelina presented her case with eloquence and poise, painting visions of prosperity and expansion that appealed to the ambition of those before her. Her words fell like silk on the ears of many, seducing them with dreams of untapped potential and glory reserved for those who dared to seize it. She was alluring, her promises coated with the sugar of idealism, hiding the bitterness of inevitability. Opposite her, Queen Isabella radiated authority. She rebutted with careful wisdom, each sentence a tapestry of tradition interwoven with inevitability. Her voice was firm yet resonant with compassion for her people, reminding the council of the values and unity that had built the very foundations of their kingdom. Under her rule, the past was a mosaic of peace and prosperity, not to be lightly discarded. Each woman's plan perched on the precipice, teetering toward triumph or disaster. Every word spoken was a brushstroke, crafting the outcome of their struggle. The council chamber itself seemed to hold its breath, caught in the suspension of fate's pendulum. Advisors whispered among themselves, interpreting the dance of words, each swayed by their allegiance or ambition. As the deliberation reached its crescendo, it became clear that the time for subtlety was drawing to a close. Evelina, sensing the moment was ripe, unmasked her audacious proposal, a bold alliance with neighboring realms, a move filled with potential but draped in risk. The room buzzed with excitement and trepidation at the daring of her declaration. Queen Isabella, unflinching, countered with her own revelation. She had secured hidden alliances, guarantees of support from powerful friends who would safeguard the kingdom's sovereignty and legacy. Her declaration was a fortress built upon unassailable alliances, a testament to the silent strength she wielded. The machinations of both women, so carefully concealed and nurtured, were unveiled in their entirety. There was a moment, a heartbeat where destiny hung in balance, where the air in the chamber was thick enough to slice with a knife. Then, slowly and surely, the scales tipped, influenced by whispers more powerful than any sword. In the end, the outcome was as much a product of their rivalry as it was of their respective acumen. The court, once divided in murmurs, now stood united in resolution, swayed by the grand tapestry woven before them. Evelina's gamble, though bold, had planted seeds that would bear fruit only in the forthcoming chapters of history, while Queen Isabella's immediate deflection reaffirmed her place as the stalwart beacon guiding her kingdom. The chessboard remained in play, pieces undisturbed, yet the landscape had undeniably shifted. As the council dispersed into the night, leaving behind the echoes of fervent debate, both Evelina and Isabella retreated to their private chambers, minds awash with the next stratagems to navigate the labyrinth of their intertwined fates. Thus, in the serene peace that blanketed the ancient castle, each conspirator contemplated the intricate game of power. A dance of shadows and secrets where tonight's conclusion was only the prelude to tomorrow's contention. In this delicate balance, history moved forward, not with tumultuous upheaval, but with the quiet elegance of a perfectly put queen's move in a match not yet finished. In the heart of the kingdom, nestled between the towering spires and the bustling streets, lies the workshop of wonders. It is a realm where art meets mechanics, where the delicate ballad of gears and cogs crafts creations that breathe life and rhythm into the very essence of existence. At the center of this workshop is the clockwork heart, an intricate masterpiece designed not just with functionality in mind but with a deep, resonating symbolism. The clockwork heart is no ordinary device. It is an artifact meticulously crafted from the rarest metals and adorned with gemstones that capture the light of the sun and moon alike. The heart's rhythmic tick, tick, tick is more than just a sound. It is a symphony of life, love, and duty, ticking in unison with the universe itself. Legend has it that the heart was initially a gift for the king, bestowed upon him by an enigmatic inventor whose name has been lost to history. The heart was intended not just as a symbolic gesture, but as a reminder of the delicate balance upon which the kingdom thrived. Everything is clockwork, the inventor once said, moving in sync with each beat of this heart. In those peaceful times, the kingdom flourished. Crops swayed gently in the fields, bathed by the soothing light of the sun. Merchants and artisans filled the city's markets with laughter and songs. The people were united as the heart ticked on, a guiding force that made even the most complex of matters seem simple and elegant. The king, a wise and compassionate ruler, wore the heart close to him at all times, feeling each movement as a reminder of his responsibilities. His reign was one of prosperity, and his kingdom became a sanctuary of harmony, known far and wide as a utopia of peace. As night falls over the kingdom, the heart continues its ceaseless rhythm. The stars above twinkle in sync with its beats, casting a gentle glow over the land. It's as if the universe itself is keeping watch, ensuring that harmony prevails. For those seeking a respite from the day's labors, the heart's sound is a lullaby. Its tick, tick, tick guides them into the realms of dreams where history is neither forgotten nor troubled but exists as a serene backdrop, a tale of peace, where turmoil and conflict are but distant echoes of a bygone era. Within the workshop of wonders, young apprentices take their first steps in learning the ancient craft. They are reminded of the heart and its significance, the perfect symbol of unity and precision. The heart speaks not just to the inner workings of mechanics, but to the cherished balance of life and love, where every beat ensures peace and continuity. In this harmonious kingdom, where the clockwork heart stands as a beacon, history becomes a gentle narrative. It is a chronicle of triumphs and lessons learned, shared by elders as they tuck their children into bed, stories of a world where balance prevails. The serene history of this realm is woven into the daily lives of its people, a testament to a land where everything, truly, is in clockwork harmony. In the tranquil kingdom of Irelandia, the sun rose gently over fields of golden wheat, casting warm, amber rays that kissed the dew-laden grass. This was a land known for its peace, where silken threads of relationships gently intertwined through the lives of its people. From the humble farmers tending to their crops to the scholars buried in tomes within the grand libraries of the capital, bonds were forged in camaraderie and trust. The kingdom was ruled by King Eldridge, a wise monarch whose fair hand kept balance and prosperity flourishing. His council was composed of advisors from different walks of life, each chosen for their wisdom and loyalty. Among them was Lord Alaric, a man of wit and charm, closest to the king's own heart. Their friendship was a silken thread that wove the stability of the realm. Yet, even in a kingdom burgeoning with harmony, shadows could creep from unexpected places. Asleep in their beds, the people of Irelandia had little knowledge of the intricate dance of ambition playing out in their midst. Within the walls of Castle Evermore, intrigue simmered. Lady Seraphina, a noblewoman of considerable influence and a surprising depth of ambition, harbored desires for power that went unspoken in polite circles. Her plans were a delicate tapestry woven from years of subtle manipulation and strategic allegiances. Unbeknownst to King Eldridge and Lord Alaric, the intricate network of relationships Lady Seraphina so expertly curated could unravel at the slightest pull. It was during the time of the Harvest Festival, a time of celebration and unity, that whispers of betrayal first stirred the air. Coins missing from the treasury, a clandestine meeting in the dead of night. At first, vague rumors tickled the ears of the townspeople, but soon they began to coalesce into a more tangible concern. King Eldridge, ever the arm of justice, called upon his advisors to untangle the web. As tensions bubbled to the surface, fingers were pointed, silken ties strained under suspicion's weight, and friendships that had once stood as strong as steel began to falter. Yet, from the seeds of betrayal, reconciliation can sometimes bloom. Lord Alaric, thrust into the role of mediator, worked tirelessly to mend the fractured alliances. His own friendship with Lady Seraphina, which had suffered under the strain of deceit, slowly began to heal as truth surfaced. Though their bond was reforged, it was not without scars. But scarred threads, when mended, can sometimes become even stronger. As delicate as the silken threads from which it was spun, peace returned to Irelandia. The teachings, gleaned from times of tumult, became new threads in the tapestry of the kingdom's history, lessons in loyalty and the invincible strength it gifted to their home. And so the kingdom endured, each generation learning anew the importance of the relationships that bind them, each individual a silken thread, part of a vast and exquisite pattern that told the story of Irelandia. Under the gentle canopy of starlight, the people of the kingdom dreamt. With the echoes of whispered reconciliation and cherished bonds mended, the kingdom slept soundly. Peace, a hallowed thread in its fabric, once more held reign. In the heart of the ancient castle, history and legend intertwined like the intricate ivy scaling the stone walls. It was a place where time seemed to hold its breath, and only the echoes of the past dared to wander freely. On a solemn evening, under the soft glow of candlelight, Lady Evelina's voice emerged, ethereal and haunting. Hers was a song that could soothe the restless spirits said to haunt the old corridors, her melody weaving a tapestry of melancholy and hope. The castle itself had witnessed countless stories across the ages, tales of bravery and betrayal, love and loss. Each whispering stone held memories waiting to be revealed. Lady Evelina's song spun these stories, touching even the hardest hearts among her audience, drawing them into a contemplative state. Her voice moved like a gentle breeze, lifting the veils of regret that hung heavy in the hall. With every note, she carried the weight of the past and glimpses of an uncertain future. Lady Evelina's music was more than mere entertainment. It was a conduit to the soul, a reminder of humanity's eternal struggle between despair and hope. But history does not always sing so sweetly. It lulls us with peaceful tales, perfect for easing into sleep, masking the chaos and struggle that built the world around us. This is why, as Lady Evelina sang, the castle seemed to lean in, as if the ancient stones themselves yearned for her voice, a balm to centuries of unrest. As Lady Evelina's final notes faded into the quiet of the castle, they left behind a silence so profound it felt alive. It was the silence of history, of moments suspended between the then and now. In that silence, each attendee was left alone with their thoughts, their regrets, their hopes, ruminating on their own place within the great tapestry of time. And as the night wore on, her enchanting song seemed to linger, like a nightingale's last call before the dawn, leaving an indelible mark on the heart of the castle and the souls within. In the ancient city nestled between rolling hills and a calm, shimmering lake, Tellura was known for its exquisite tapestries, each woven thread telling intricate stories from eras long past. These artworks, adorned with a kaleidoscope of colors, adorned the halls of Tellura's grand library. As the sun cast its gentle glow through the library's arched windows, the tapestry museum curator, Elara, found herself drawn to a particular piece, an opulent tapestry once belonging to an enigmatic noble family. Whispers from the past lingered in the vibrant threads, echoing tales that spanned generations. The tapestry's luxurious threads formed a grand scene of a family banquet, their eyes capturing joy and suspicion. Yet, as Elara studied the art, she noticed subtleties, a hand gripping too tightly around a goblet, eyes glancing sideways with furtive intent. A child inexplicably turned away from the festivities. Elara carefully adjusted her glasses, the contours of the tapestry growing sharper under her scrutiny. Beyond the ostentatious display of wealth and celebration there were echoes, reminders of triumphs and betrayals, of desires long suppressed and histories intentionally forgotten. The noble family at the center seemed haunted by their own legacy. As evening crept over Tellura, Elara's mind echoed with stories she uncovered. She imagined the lives led beyond the fabric, the choices, the secrets locked within the gaze of woven characters, inviting them to a long, forgotten banquet of emotions. Her curiosity piqued by a forgotten scandal whispered through the vibrant fibers, she delved deeper into the archives, seeking records and letters that might breathe life into the skeletal stories depicted in the tapestry. While Elara dug through shelves housing ancient scrolls and heavy tomes, each containing echoes of forgotten histories, she discovered correspondence between the noble family's patriarch, Lord Simeon, and a mysterious advisor known simply as the Oracle. These letters, faded and fragile, spoke of decisions made in the dead of night, alliances forged and broken, a tapestry of murky dealings interwoven with lavish banquets and public displays of harmony. Elara felt the pull of sleep wash over her as the evening melded into night. The quiet whispers of old paper and the soothing rhythm of turning pages enveloped her, more serene than the external cacophony of city life. Her head nodded forward, and before long, scenes from the past flowed together seamlessly in the realm of dreams. In her dreams, Elara became an omniscient spectator in the lives of the family she had become so acquainted with through art and letters. She watched as a young Lord Simeon, ambitious and headstrong, embarked on a journey that would intertwine his fate irrevocably with the Oracle. She witnessed alliances torn asunder by jealousy, passions igniting in a blaze of clandestine meetings, and an older Simeon sitting at the edge of his banquet hall, watching shadows dance to the flickering of candlelight, their whispers audible only to him. Elara woke with a slow stretch, greeted by the first light of dawn pouring over the tapestry, transforming woven threads into vibrant life once again. Feeling restless but invigorated, she left the library for her home, her mind alive with the stories of those long gone, their lives echoing across time. In Tellura, the past and present intertwined harmoniously, the tapestries existing not only as beautiful relics but repositories of memory and emotion, a whispering echo of shared humanity. As Elara stepped out into the morning sun, she realized the truth of life's delicate balance: to honor the past, reconcile its memories, painful or joyous, and stride confidently towards the unseen tapestry of the future. Thus, she continued weaving her own stories into the rich tapestry of time, vibrant and enduring as the city of Tellura itself. Troyvia, as they call it, was destroyed by fire. You can still see the marks if you look closely: scorched stones, shattered pottery. There are no bodies here. No skeletons left in the doorways, no mass graves. But there are clues. Broken slingstones clustered in corners, burned grain still tucked in storage jars, a collapsed wall where someone may have made a last stand or simply tried to escape. In the serene and tranquil realm of Elysium, Queen Isabella was a ruler both wise and benevolent. Her reign was known for peace, prosperity, and the gentle sway of harmony that enveloped every corner of her kingdom. It was a place where the sun's warm embrace and the gentle hum of the wind in the trees lulled even the most restless souls into restful slumber. Yet, like any kingdom, Elysium was not without its challenges. Amidst this serene landscape, Isabella found herself entwined in the subtle intricacies of court politics, where allies were as invaluable as they were unpredictable. The court was akin to a delicate chessboard, each piece maneuvered with careful precision, every move considered in the grand scheme of ensuring continued peace and prosperity. However, the gentle equilibrium of Isabella's realm was on the brink of change. An unexpected twist of fate was about to renew its course. One moonlit evening, as the silver glow bathed the quiet gardens of the royal palace, Isabella received an unanticipated visitor. A cloaked figure, eyes gleaming with uncanny wisdom, emerged from the shadows. She introduced herself as Lyra, a former counselor from a neighboring kingdom that had fallen victim to discord and strife. Lyra, with her deep knowledge of politics and her compassionate vision for unity, offered her counsel and strategic advantage to Isabella. It was an alliance born of mutual respect and shared ideals, one that promised to fortify Elysium standing amidst the intricate weave of regional power dynamics. In the weeks following Lyra's arrival, Isabella felt an invigorating breeze of change. With Lyra's insights into the nuances of diplomacy and subtle art of negotiation, the queen found herself making unprecedented strides in fortifying alliances and nurturing bonds with neighboring realms. The court, once brittle in its relations, began to echo with a newfound synergy. The subtle whispers of past grievances were gradually quieted by the harmonious discourse that filled the corridors of power. But the real magic of Lyra's presence lay not in the grand gestures of alliance, but in the smaller, quieter moments. Suggestions to pay heed to the forgotten, the underappreciated members of the court, and in creating avenues for their voices. Her emphasis on inclusivity and understanding resonated throughout the kingdom, fostering a deeper unity among its people. Isabella's plans, once stagnant, now thrived under Lyra's nurturing guidance. Trade flourished, cultural exchanges blossomed, and the arts reached new heights of expression. It was as if Lyra had not only brought strategic advantages, but had also breathed new life into the kingdom's very essence. Yet, even as the kingdom prospered, Isabella never forgot the fragile balance upon which her realm stood. She knew the chessboard of court politics was as delicate as ever, but with Lyra by her side, the queen was more than prepared to navigate its complexities. Under the canopy of stars, Isabella often mused on the twists of fate that had brought Lyra to her doorstep. In those moments, as a gentle breeze carried the sweet scent of blooming flowers, she found reassurance in the bonds that had been forged, bonds that transcended simple alliances and ventured into the realm of genuine friendship and mutual respect. The kingdom of Elysium, cradled in its newfound solidarity, moved gracefully into a future destined to be shaped by the enduring strength of its people, the wisdom of a queen, and the benevolent guidance of an unexpected ally. It was a history penned in peace, a tale of unity perfect for lulling even the most restless hearts into serene and comforting sleep. The click and whir of hidden gears play a mechanic's rhyme as tension surged towards conclusion. Within the hallowed halls of the Ardent Academy, where scholars and inventors alike are engrossed in their variety of crafts, lies a plot as intricate as the gearwork of a pocket watch. Amidst the array of esteemed figures, devices once deemed mere curiosities now become pivotal instruments in unraveling layers of intrigue. This is a testament to the delicate art of steampunk ingenuity interwoven with courtly conflict. A gilded arm, mechanical and majestic, graces the presence of Lady Elara. Her reputation precedes her, a skillful artificer, and the Duchess of Aetherwold. The arm is not just a replacement for what was once flesh, but a symbol of her unparalleled expertise in the metallurgy and alchemical arts. Each finger moves with a precision that suggests something almost organic, yet mechanical quill and parchment are her tools this eve, as she maps out strategies within an empire teetering on the brink. The Grand Conservatory was abuzz tonight with figures of great repute, lords, ladies, inventors, and the odd rogue trader exchange courtesies beneath towering brass chandeliers thrumming with electrified currents. Indeed, history, they say, should be peaceful, perfect for sleeping. Tonight, however, feels anything but serene. Sequestered within the eastern pavilion is Lord Byron Duval, a man of no petty ambition. Whispers of his endeavors, of fledgling alliances with eastern clockmakers and distant piratical airship fleets, make the rounds. He and Elara ostensibly share a cordial rapport, though those versed in the subtle arts of courtly exchanges see the feigned pleasantries for what they are. My lady Elara, Duval draws near, his voice a practiced melody against the backdrop of cogs and jeers clattering from a nearby demonstrative apparatus. The city of Heliospex has become of interest to many, yourself included, or so I have heard. His eyes glint with an intelligence she finds both provoking and necessary. With a gracious nod, Elara replies, her mechanical hand adapting seamlessly to the play of stereotypic human gestures. Indeed, and I suspect, my lord, that this interest is not singular. I imagine a city half buried in the mineral, rich dust of eons can allure many minds. Her tone is light, yet laden with implication. The night's mechanical displays are more than mere showing off of accomplishments. They paint tales of engineers that marry artistry with practicality, of kingdoms that rise not just by monarchical decree, but by the very advancements of technological marvel. Devices are not mere tools, no, they are characters in this unfolding narrative. A certain device, its purpose hidden amid the playful aesthetic of its copper casing and the luminous glass tubes within, appears insidiously simple, though it has captured the conversations of several tonight. Natalia Wiscombe, a spirited and earnest student whose presence in these circles lends an aura of unassumable wisdom, finds herself drawn to this device. Ingenious, she muses, spinning a small cog, watching the resulting chain reaction with gratifying amusement, though, she notes to her companion, a gentleman of frightful mustache and modest dress, Owen can almost imagine it serving an unpleasant conclusion. The gentleman, known to them only as Malcolm, nods, lost in his own analysis, an agent of obfuscation indeed, or entertainment under the right conditions. They exchange fleeting smiles, the whims of youth undeterred by the palpable tension surrounding them. The discussions flow throughout the evening, delicate webs spun with each sentence. Thickening unseen in the mechanical backdrop, the primary point of contention remains Heliospex, a city lost to time, where stories of ancient devices and alchemical wonders abound. Whoever commands its secrets could shift the very balance of power. Things come to a head shortly before midnight. Sudden, cacophonic clatter echoes from the arboretum, shadows of gaunt figures twisting against the glass encasement. Lady Elara's suspicions find their validation in this discord. Secrets, it seems, cannot remain hidden when so mingled with the passions and revelries of power. Byron Duval is among the first to charge towards the tumult. As Lady Elara follows, her pace quickened by adrenaline, laced intrigue, her arm offers an odd comfort, a seamless part of her she has perfected and refined. No bodies, though. The arboretum retains the smell of blossoms devoid of blood. But there are semblances present. The detached cog, the snapped gear, scattered as though an exchange had been hidden within a layer of vegetation and delicacy. It is Natalia who finds the clue. A curious scrap of parchment, illegible unless viewed through her monocle of particular optics, reveals more than just hidden text. A ledger, Malcolm surmises, the name Heliospex etched more than once beneath others. Familiar titles intertwined with suspicion of treacheries. It is only through the artistry of mechanical invention that the echoes of conspiracy unwind. Quieter now, the rift is not between pistons and gears, but scattered loyalties and uncertain allegiances. The devices overshadow possessions. Vital Elara breathes a sigh, as history never is as placid as they posited. No inducement other than her revelation wrought of diligence and intelligence. And as the conclusion looms, such intrigues, where devices reside at the juncture of curiosity and political ascension, seem destined to uncoil in the final quintessence of mechanics' grand rhyme. Cogs will align, tumblers will click into place, and the once organized chaos will yield its song. Dawn breaks amidst the balance of what transpires in the courtly halls. The last clicks settle, hidden gears slowly grind to rest. It leaves a whisper, a soft, mechanical exhalation of the intrigues unraveled. Devices that once whispered like hidden spirits fade back into curiosities, sustaining their watch, awaiting again the cycle of their waking. The grand narrative descends into a lull, a testament, as they say, to the dissonant beauty of progress, where history can indeed occasionally cradle one to rest. In the heart of a garden cloaked in the gentle embrace of night mist, Evelina meets with her confidant. Their murmurs carry secrets and plans, unwittingly observed by the queen's spies, setting the stage for the unfolding of truths hidden deep within the castle's foundations. Beneath the wan glow of the crescent moon, Evelina moved silently through the strands of mist that hung like gentle whispers in the cool night air. The garden had always been her refuge, a place where the tendrils of ancient ivy seemed to listen without judgment, and the night blooms shared their fragrance with discretion. Tonight, however, secrecy was of utmost importance. Her confidant, Lysandra, had whispered of urgent matters that needed attending to under the cover of darkness. Evelina's heart pounded not only with the thrill of rendezvous, but with the weight of what she knew might be at stake. At the heart of the garden, near the old stone bench where the roses grew wild and free, Lysandra waited. Her cloak, dark as midnight, blended seamlessly with the shadows, but her eyes shone brightly, catching the light of a nearby lantern. "Evelina," Lysandra breathed, her voice a soft melody cutting through the thick silence of the night. "The queen grows restless. There's talk of a new alliance, one that could change everything we know." Evelina's breath caught in her throat. She had sensed the winds of change within the castle walls, had heard the hushed conversations halted abruptly whenever she passed, but hearing it confirmed by Lysandra brought a chill to her spine. "What do we know?" Evelina asked, her words wrapped in urgency. "Very little," Lysandra replied, her frustration evident. "The queen's counsel is tight-lipped. However, whispers speak of messages sent and received accompanied by the seal we do not recognize." In the dense foliage, unseen eyes watched. The queen's spies, adept at their craft, had become part of the garden itself. Shadows among shadows, they observed, memorized, and planned to report their findings to their austere mistress. Yet Evelina and Lysandra spoke freely, unaware of the danger. "We have friends, Evelina, allies who believe in the cause, who wish to see the kingdom rise to its true potential, unmarred by treachery." Lysandra pressed, her gaze piercing and true. It was then that Evelina realized the gravity of their meeting transcended beyond mere whispers. This was a crossroads, and the path they chose would unravel truths deeply woven into the fabric of the kingdom's history. "Then we must act," Evelina declared with a tone firm and resolute, "before the full moon shifts the fates against us." But their words, potent and charged, hung in the air, finding purchase in the eavesdroppers' keen ears. The spies, task completed, retreated into the night, like phantoms merging once more with the mist. Within the castle's imposing walls, where shadows flitted about in secretive games, the queen considered her next move. She brooded, aware of the pulse of intrigue that throbbed just beneath her feet, hidden within the castle's very stones. Beyond the intrigue and the veils of treachery painted across the garden of mysteries, history slumbered peacefully, a silent testament to times of peace and war, triumphs and betrayals. But as the echoes of Evelina and Lysandra's clandestine meeting began to weave their way into the vast tapestry of fate, the fabric of their world was poised to change forever. In time, the truth would nestle comfortably into the annals of history, perhaps to be discovered centuries hence by curious minds tracing the ghostly fingerprints left behind. You might never recall the sounds of night whispers or the exact scent of those elusive misty blooms, but you knew that within every peaceful rest there lay an unfathomable dream, a story waiting to unfold in the gentle embrace of sleep. Across the chessboard, the figures silently glided into their respective places. Each court figure took its place on the chessboard of fate, an intricate dance of strategy and survival. The board itself was grand, an expanse of ebony and ivory squares stretching into infinity, where only the deft and the daring dared to tread. The king stood firm and majestic, his presence commanding respect and calculated moves. His queen, the most versatile of all the pieces, was always close, prepared to strike with swiftness and precision. Bishops, knights, and rooks completed the tableau, each with their distinct role, but united by a singular purpose. The echo of ancient wars and the whispers of past victories and losses entwined with the present. The air was thick with anticipation, for it was not merely a game being played, it was a saga of destiny, of life, and of choices that could ripple through eternity. Amidst the quiet tension, the past, present, and future converged in one decisive moment. Every careful tactic and bold countermove dictated the course of an unpredictable path. The figures, Much like the players themselves wore masks of contemplation and intent. In this realm, violence was but a memory. Here, peace ruled supreme. As the game unfolded, it was not the clash of forces that held sway, but the serene ebb and flow of intelligence, the silent jewel where wits and wisdom reigned. The sun gently bathed the land in a golden hue, casting long, soft shadows across the board. It seemed almost as if time had slowed to allow the full measure of every decision to be absorbed, to let each player marvel at the artistry of the dance. No cries of battle were heard. Only the gentle rustle of fabric as the queen moved, only the soft scrape of a rook gliding into place, only the profound silence as a knight leaped across the board in an elegant arc. This was the game of kings, the eternal struggle manifested not in fields of war, but in the quietude of a peaceful mindscape. A tapestry woven not of blood and strife, but of contemplative breadth and strategic mastery. As the pieces moved with a dance, like rhythm, one could find solace in the certainty that here, upon this board, the heart of man was at peace. Here, where futures were shaped and legends forged with nothing more than the shift of an ivory knight or the strategic enclosure of the ebony queen. Thus, in the stillness of this battlefield, where the only enemy was one's own doubts, players could rest. It was the perfect refuge for those who sought the comfort of a perfect game, the tranquility of knowing that here, victory and defeat were mere symbols in a far grander design. Sleep came easily here. In this sanctuary of thought and strategy, the mind could finally find rest. In the golden light of that eternal sunset, the world felt at peace, as if every move, every glance, and every breath was but an aria in the symphony of life. It was history rendered as a lullaby, the sweet refrain of minds entwined in the dance of the ages, a gentle reminder that amid all the complexity and chaos, there could be found a moment of perfect serenity. In the heart of a peaceful kingdom, nestled between rolling hills and lush, verdant forests, there was a village known far and wide for its tranquility and harmony. The people of this village were content, living lives untouched by the turmoil and strife that often plagued distant lands. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, allowing the beauty of nature and the simplicity of daily life to flourish in gentle rhythms. One day, amidst this serene existence, there arrived a mysterious figure, a traveler known only as the alchemist, cloaked in robes that shimmered with colors changing from emerald green to deep azure. The alchemist was a figure of fascination and rumors. His arrival was marked by whispers of curiosity and wonder. Setting up a modest abode at the edge of the village, the alchemist made himself accessible to those seeking his wisdom or goods. Many visited, captivated by the aura of mystery that surrounded him. But it was not until he announced the unveiling of the elixir, his pivotal gift, that the true stir began. The elixir, as he introduced it, was said to have the unique power to reveal one's heart's true desires. The village was soon abuzz with speculation about the potential revelations this magical concoction could bring. Would it show a path to untold treasures? Would it unveil hidden talents waiting to revolutionize one's life? Or would it simply reflect the quiet joys already held dear? Word of the elixir quickly spread beyond the peaceful confines of the village, reaching the distant corners of the kingdom. Nobles, merchants, scholars, and even the curious common folk began to make their pilgrimages to the village, each hoping to glimpse the truths locked within their hearts. As the throngs gathered, a festival atmosphere took hold. Stalls selling trinkets and refreshments lined the cobbled streets. Musicians played lively tunes, and the air was filled with laughter and chatter. For a kingdom known for its peace, this convergence of people from all walks of life was a rare and exciting event. Amidst this celebration, an underlying tension began to simmer. What if the revelations brought forth by the elixir shattered the harmony of the village? Could the pursuit of personal desires upset the delicate balance of their peaceful existence? Yet, the alchemist assured them with a gentle smile and wise words. The heart's true desires, he said, are often not what we imagine. They lie not in material gain, but in understanding and acceptance of what we truly cherish. One by one, the villagers and visitors approached the alchemist's tent, each curious to discover the secrets of their own hearts. An elderly farmer, who had spent his life tending to the fields, took a sip. The vision that unfolded was simple. His desire was for his family to continue with the land after he was gone, nurturing not just crops but the bonds that held them together. a young scholar burdened by ambition and expectation, found herself longing for the freedom to explore her love for music, something she had always thought to be just a hobby. The realization brought a relieved smile, as if a weight she never knew she carried had been lifted. As more people took the elixir, the atmosphere transformed from one of eager anticipation to quiet contemplation. Conversations turned introspective, with many sharing their revelations openly, sparking connections and understanding. In the end, the kingdom did not fall into chaos or turmoil, as some had feared. Instead, it embarked on a journey of introspection and growth. The tranquility that had defined the village was not lost. It was deepened and enriched by the people's newfound insights into their own hearts. The alchemist, having shared his gift, prepared to move on, leaving behind a kingdom subtly transformed, not by magic alone, but by the truths unveiled through his elixir. The people waved him farewell, thankful for the gentle change brought to their lives. In the years that followed, the story of the alchemist and his gift became the stuff of legend, a tale shared through generations. It was a reminder that sometimes the greatest transformations come not through grand gestures or dramatic upheavals, but through the quiet revelations of the heart, embraced with peace and understanding. In a realm not bound by time, where decisions carve the pathways of reality itself, key figures stand at the crossroads. This place, known as the spiral of decisions, is an ever-tightening vortex where choices manifest destinies, sealing fates in a delicate dance of light and shadow. The spiral of decisions is neither ominous nor comforting, it is merely a process. It whispers to its visitors, urging them towards choices they must not take lightly. In this realm, allegiances can be sworn or forsaken, and every option bears the weight of untold futures. Troivia, as they call it, was destroyed by fire. You can still see the marks if you look closely. Scorched stones, shattered pottery. There are no bodies here. No skeletons left in the doorways, no mass graves. But there are clues. Broken slingstones clustered in corners, burned grain still tucked in storage jars. A collapsed wall where someone may have made a last stand or simply tried to escape. In times of quandary, the spiral reveals itself to those who dare to venture. Legends say that when the heart is clouded by indecision, one can trace a path through the haze and spiral into the realm of choices, where destiny waits to be written. Lila, a keeper of secrets, stood at the vortex, eyes closed, sensing the magnetic pull of decisions unmade. She knew her choices would unravel histories or bind them. Her heart spoke of allegiance to the path of peace, but betrayal loomed as a shadow, enticing and begging her consideration. Through history, there have been those who confront the spiral, caught in its ceaseless twist. Jerem, a scholar whose pursuit of knowledge took him deeper into the depths of understanding than most could fathom, found himself amidst the spiral's grip. A many paths lead but one choice, echoed the wisdom of the ancients as Jerem pondered. Each option presented was an opportunity and a trap. To know was to unknow, and to choose was, in an essence, to betray possibilities. Despite the swirl's tumult, Jerem felt a profound peace in his soul when the decision finally manifested. To share knowledge freely, breaking tradition, felt like a betrayal to some, but a rightful allegiance to the truth he cherished. Similarly, within the corridors of the spiral, Mara stood firm in her resolve, her heart tethered to a cause long championed by her ancestors, the preservation of peace through strength. Betrayal, an echo of fear and suspicion, beckoned her towards paths she nearly took. Choices, once made, spiraled into existence, each one an irreversible mark upon the fabric of history. Bound by duty and honor, Mara chose allegiance over personal desire, peace over conquest. These stories, as delicate as the threads of a spider's web, and as strong as the iron wrought from the earth, tell of destinies sealed and lives gently steered by choices embraced or forsaken. Thus, when future generations look into the spiral, they see reflections of themselves. Decisions yet to be made, roads yet walked. In the quiet of night, tales of this peaceful history lull them into restful slumber, their own stories resting just beyond the horizon waiting. In a grand castle on the edge of a serene valley, preparations for the most awaited event of the year were underway. The Radiant Ball, as it was fondly called, was an occasion when the realm's nobility gathered in splendor beneath the luminous glow of crystal chandeliers. The castle, ancient yet majestic, perched atop a hill, with its stone towers wreathed in the silver mist of the approaching evening. Torches lit the path leading to the grand entrance, where guests arrived in luxurious carriages, their wheels crunching softly over the gravel driveway. Within the castle's great hall, chandeliers sparkled like clusters of captured stars, casting soft light over the grand mosaic floor polished to a sheen by diligent hands. Velvet drapes framed tall windows, where the fading daylight peeked through just enough to hint at the lush gardens beyond. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the chandeliers took center stage, glowing brightly to bathe the room in their warm embrace. Guests mingled in the hall, their voices weaving a tapestry of laughter and conversation. The air was fragrant with the scent of jasmine and rose petals, strewn across the tables in decorative patterns. Men and women, dressed in their finest silks and brocades, moved gracefully through the room in a parade of color and elegance. Their faces were hidden behind elaborate masks, each more intricate than the last, adding a layer of mystery to the evening. Music swelled from the far corner of the hall, where a small orchestra played a lively waltz, its melody lilting and inviting. Couples moved together in a synchronized dance, their movements as fluid as water. Yet, beneath the facade of dance and decorum, alliances were formed and broken. Hidden behind diplomatic smiles and coy glances, the host of this illustrious gathering, Duke Alaric, stood observing from a balcony overlooking the hall. Cloaked in a midnight blue robe embroidered with silver thread, his own mask, a gleaming falcon, concealed his identity just enough to maintain an air of enigma. He was known for his shrewd diplomacy and keen sense of perception, skills that were particularly necessary on a night like this. Amidst the dance, Lady Alara, renowned for both her beauty and her wit, moved like a shadow through the crowd. Her gown, a cascade of emerald silk that whispered with every step, reflected her enigmatic nature. She was a lady of many secrets, some of which had the potential to alter the balance of power within the realm. Her mask, a delicate butterfly that appeared to flutter with her movements, offered her anonymity as she navigated the crowd. Nearby, Lord Martin, a man of stature and influence, was engaged in a seemingly innocent conversation with a fellow noble. His lion mask did little to hide his identity or his ambitions. Known for his voracious appetite for power, Lord Martin had used events like the Radiant Ball to further his own goals, whispering promises behind cloaks of regal pretense. As the evening wore on, a curious drama unfolded at the fringes of the ballroom. A letter, sealed with a wax crest of the phoenix, had found its way into the hands of Lady Alara. Its contents were a matter of utmost secrecy, but speculation among the eavesdroppers hinted at potential treason or an old alliance renewed. Lady Alara, gracefully excusing herself from the dance floor, slipped away to a secluded alcove framed by ivy and marble pillars. Here, beneath the soft glow of a single candle, she broke the seal and scanned the letter's contents with a discerning eye. Her expression, shadowed by the mask, gave little away, but within those words lay the seeds of transformation that would inevitably ripple through the court. Unbeknownst to her, Duke Alaric watched her departure with a knowing gaze. The Duke, ever vigilant, had reasons of his own for hosting the gathering. He understood the shifting sands of allegiance perhaps better than anyone, and had cultivated an air of benevolent detachment, letting the drama unfold while keeping his own counsel. As the night deepened, the rhythm of the ball took on a more hushed, languorous pace. Candles flickered, casting playful shadows that danced along the walls. Conversation ebbed and flowed like the gentle waves distant in the surrounding night air, each whisper a thread in the delicate tapestry of the realm's political landscape. Beneath the mask's expressions hidden, a slew of stories intertwined, forged in the ephemera of a single grand evening. Friends and rivals, old flames and new, shared the same space and time, their interactions framed by the golden glow of the chandeliers above. For those who could read between the lines, the Radiant Ball was a stage, its players wrapped in silk and shadow, performing roles within the grand opera of their lives. Masks and gowns were mere artifice, but the revelations, the gestures and sidelong glances, those were the true currency of the evening. As the final notes of the evening's music trailed into silence, the guests departed the grand hall, their whispers and laughter echoing into the night. The Radiant Ball had come to an end, but its ripples would continue to extend far beyond the stone walls of the castle, leaving a legacy woven into the very fabric of history. Thus, the castle stood as a silent sentinel, overlooking the valley where peace reigned, the remains of the evening unfolding beneath the tranquil expanse of moonlit sky. And as the world tilted towards the dawn, the radiant ball's secrets nestled into slumber, perfect for dreams of a night illuminated by radiant light and whispered intrigue. Entwined destinies unfolds in a realm where friendships and rivalries are sculpted by the choices that echo across time. Within the court of Edoria, tensions simmer beneath a veneer of tranquility. Those who walk its marble corridors find their lives inextricably linked, each decision a stitch in the rich tapestry of their collective destiny. Monarchs and scholars, soldiers and spies, weaving alliances and suspicion, all play their roles as destinies intertwine. And in Neneldoria's lush countryside, there lies a village whose fields stretch into a verdant horizon under a sky pale with dawn. Here resides Kiera, a quiet healer known for weaving enchantments that soothe the weary and mend wounds. Her days are spent in harmonious solitude, yet her heart yearns for something beyond the familiar rhythm of her craft. And meanwhile, amidst the echoing halls of Eldoria's court, a young scribe named Elian finds himself entrenched in the simmering intrigues that pervade its regal air. His days are a complex dance between preserving truth and navigating the whispers that twist the corridors like serpents. Elian's world is a testament to the ever-shifting nature of alliances, one where every quill stroke holds the potential to change a life. Emin and destinies intertwine as Kiera and Elian's paths converge during a chance encounter at the Royal Archives, a silent maze of knowledge where histories are safeguarded. Here, enchanted parchments murmur their secrets to those with the wisdom to listen. Kiera's visit, sparked by her quest for knowledge that might ease the burdens of her people, becomes a pivotal moment. She seeks the wisdom of the past to weave into her own spells, believing history holds the key to healing both body and Nelian, drawn by Kiera's gentle resolve, finds himself accompanying her through the halls lined with volumes of forgotten lore. In this convergence of fates, where friend and foe become indistinct echoes, choices made in the dim light of the archives ripple outward. Here, they discover ancient scripts that foretold their meeting, a prophecy entangled in layers of ink and binding. It speaks of choices that are neither wholly right nor wrong, only threads that contribute to the broader tapestry. The Nentir bond grows amidst the hushed whispers of scrolls, transforming curiosity into companionship. However, beyond the sanctuary of the archives, shadows stretch long with the threat of war. In the court, whispers of conflict loom, a threat to Eldoria's hard-won peace. Kiera's village, nestled in the valley, stands vulnerable, a pawn in the strategic games of power. Her healing prowess, now sought by those with both noble and nefarious intent, thrusts her into the heart of the turbulent crosswinds that swirl around the court. Nelian, with his ear tuned to the secretive pulse of the court, understands that neutrality is a luxury afforded to none. His observations, his records, each bears the potential to sway decisions of consequence. The lines between his duty and his heart tether him to a precarious balance. He realizes that in the theater of courtly maneuvers, he's not merely an observer. His role, previously perceived as passive, is fraught with its own power and peril. As allegiances shift with the tide of warfare approaching, the once clear distinction between friend and foe is muddled by necessity and desperation. Kiera, guided by visions unearthed in the archives, must choose whether to remain in her village and shield her people with her magic, or to embrace the larger role fate has laid before her. In this tapestry of lives led by duty, love, and legacy, each character faces crossroads that transcend the individual. Their choices create ripples, unseen and unknowable, that extend beyond the confines of Eldoria's court, forging new paths and shaping futures in ways profound and enduring. And yet, amidst this turmoil of converging fates, a history of peaceful days lingers, an assurance of slumber to those wary of heart and mind. Eldoria remembers days of golden harvest, laughter reverberating in the village square, children weaving dreams that flutter like ethereal kites. In these recollections, it finds solace, a lullaby of times untouched by change, perfect in its simplicity. And as the lines blur, and the choices solidify into paths yet unexplored, the people of Eldoria embark on a journey, their lives forever entwined in the shared legacy of their intertwined destinies. The future stretches ahead, a canvas primed to capture the hues of possibility, each brushstroke an echo of the intertwining stories etched deep within the courtyards and countryside, resonating with the beat of hearts in unison. Beneath the moonlit night, the tides murmur their ancient song, echoing the murmurs within castle walls. They resound with stories untold. Against this backdrop, the queen surveys her position, navigating the turbulent waters of power, loyalty, and unyielding ambition. The castle, perched precariously on the cliffside, was a symbol of timeless fortitude. By day, it stood as a beacon of power and prestige. By night, the shadows played across its ancient stones, echoing the secrets and whispered confidences that populated its winding halls. Queen Alara was a figure both revered and feared. Her reign was a testament to her cunning and resolve, her ability to manipulate situations and people alike with a deft touch. Her court was a tapestry of nobles and advisors, each thread woven intricately through years of politics and allegiance. But beneath this splendid facade lay a labyrinth of intricate plots, silent alliances, and the omnipresent struggle for power. Alara stood at the edge of the grand stone balcony, the wind teasing strands of her silver hair. She gazed out at the restless sea far below, the moonlight dancing across the waves. The rhythmic sigh of the tides mirrored the use of her mind's incessant deliberations. Beside her, Chancellor Dorian, trusted advisor and lifelong confidant, cleared his throat discreetly. "Your Majesty," he began, his voice barely rising above the whisper of the ocean. "Yes, Dorian," Alara replied, her gaze never wavering from the horizon. "There are matters which require your attention," he continued, his tone careful yet insistent. Whispers in the corridors. Certain factions growing discontent. The issue of succession is yet unresolved, and it stirs the peace like a stone in a pond. Alara tilted her head slightly, allowing herself a moment to calculate her response. The issue of succession had loomed over her reign like a storm cloud. Without a direct heir, the future of her lineage and the realm remained uncertain, invoking both fear and ambition in the hearts of many. "Leave those stones to settle for now," she said finally, her words deliberate. "We must not allow haste to dictate our actions, Dorian. In time, all things will be arranged." Dorian nodded, though the worry in his eyes deepened. "As you deem fit, Your Majesty. Yet there have been movements in the eastern provinces. The Duke of Eldridge has garnered significant support. Rumors suggest he covets more than his current title." A slight frown creased Alara's brow, the ever-present challenge of loyalty and ambition. The Duke's power had been growing, fueled by the whispers of discontent among those who sought a change in leadership. "The Duke must be reminded of his position," Alara stated, her voice now carrying an edge of steel. "I dispatch our emissaries. The tides mustn't ever feel they can overcome their boundaries." As the night deepened, Alara's attention drifted again to the sea, gleaming silver under the moonlight. Each crest and fall told the stories of countless generations, tales of conquest, alliance, and the delicate balance of power that ruled their existence. She returned to the solitude of her chamber, her mind's eye reflecting the placid surface of a lake, beneath which currents of ambition and resolve churned incessantly. A soft knock broke her reverie, the door creaking open to reveal Lady Marisol, her chief lady in waiting and closest confidante. "Your Majesty," Marisol greeted with a gentle curtsy. "You have a visitor, a messenger from the northern fortresses." Alara inclined her head slightly, acknowledging the presence of yet another piece in this grand chess game of politics and power. "Very well, send him in," she instructed, smoothing her gown with practiced ease. A young squire, barely past adolescence, entered the chamber, his demeanor nervous yet respectful. He bowed deeply. "Your Grace," the squire began, My lord sends word that the northern defenses have spotted increased activity beyond the borders. There are signs of movement in the Ashen Woods. It seems the neighboring tribes of Velar are restless once more." Ayalara's eyes narrowed slightly. The tribes of Velar were a constant thorn, a reminder of the lands beyond the kingdom's control, where the known world blurred into untamed regions ruled by different laws and welder codes. "Thank you," she said, dismissing the squire with a wave. As he withdrew, she returned to her thoughts. The world was ceaseless in its demands, requiring tokens of strength, glimpses of vulnerability, only if leveraged to one's advantage. The murmuring tides whispered their eternal wisdom, urging patience and strategy. And as Queen Alara prepared herself for the battles yet to come, whether through subtle manipulation or pointed confrontation, she knew that she too must become as the tides, ceaseless, unwavering, and relentless in pursuit of her goals. As the moon climbed higher into the night, Casting its silvery light across the kingdom, the tides continued their eternal song, an echo of power's precarious dance. A lullaby perfect for those who dared to dream of peace amidst the shadows. In the quaint Victorian town of Gairhaven, a marvel was unfolding. The Great Steampunk Exposition, a grand celebration dedicated to innovation and the wonders of steampunk artistry. Lenses specifically designed to see beyond normal vision allowed visitors to view hidden layers of reality, uncovering secrets veiled in the mundane. The air hummed with anticipation, a resonant symphony of whirring gears and hissing steam as the exposition came alive. Master artisans displayed their inventions, each a tribute to their ingenuity. Clockwork birds fluttered with lifelike grace, their metallic feathers catching the evening sun. Other creations, like the intricate arachnid walkers that scurried with surprising agility, demonstrated the balance between nature's inspirations and human creativity. Amidst the exhibition stood Professor Elias Wren, famed throughout the realm for his groundbreaking work in kinetic thought mechanisms, mind-driven machines that translated thoughts into action. His latest masterpiece, the Cogitator, promised to revolutionize communication. With it, a person's innermost ideas and musings could be projected onto a viewing panel, visible for all to see. The vast hall fell silent as Wren turned the Cogitator's bronze handle. The projection sprang to life, painting the ceiling in colors and shapes that ebbed and flowed like a living painting. Gasps of awe echoed through the crowd as they shared the professor's vision, a world united through the transmission of heartfelt understanding, words transcending language in a symphony of ideas. Beyond the Cogitator's enchantment lay halls filled with steam-powered creations. Diversely colored airships, their balloon-like structures adorned with elaborate brass fixtures, bobbed gently against their tethers. Nearby, an assembly of automatons, their eyes twinkling with intelligence, demonstrated feats of dexterity by solving complex puzzles or playing mechanical chess. Every creation was a testament to the harmonious blend of the old and the new. Gears and levers of polished copper and brass worked seamlessly with the innovation of modern creativity. It was here, on this threshold, that tradition and future gazed at one another with mutual respect. Visitors marveled not only at the artifacts, but at the spirit of community, the vibrant exchange of ideas that danced in the atmospheres like the mechanical fireflies that illuminated the evening sky. The exposition was a tapestry of stories, each machine and device whispering the tale of its creator's dreams, fears, and triumphs. And in this peaceful history of invention, there was reassurance. The steampunk world of Gairhaven stood as a bridge across the ages, where the purely practical met the whimsically fantastic, offering solace and a reminder that in every era, the human spirit is bound by its inexhaustible capacity for creativity. For those fortunate enough to witness the spectacle, sleep came gently that night, filled with dreams of clockwork infinity and the serene hum of engines there to cradle them towards dawn, a world of possibility wrapped in the gentle embrace of a future in perpetual motion. In the grand tapestry of history, the court life that thrived behind imposing castle walls often moved to a unique cadence, the rhythm of power, politics, and personal ambition. This symphony of human endeavor reached its pinnacle in a crescendo where plots, desires, and dreams intertwined in a harmonic finale, heralding the end of an era and the dawning of a new chapter in the annals of time. The court's crescendo was a time of great intrigue. Behind the silken draperies and gilded doors, whispered conspiracies were as common as the delicate notes of a lute plucked by court musicians. Each character in the court was a musician in this symphony of intrigue, their actions resonating with consequences that echoed far beyond the immediate vicinity of the throne room. The life of the court was a delicate balance of power, where each noble family sought to carve out its influence over the kingdom. The king, a figurehead adorned with regal garments, stood at the center of this world, his rule legitimized by his control over the symphony's tempo. Around him, courtiers moved like dancers, their positions shifting constantly with the ebb and flow of royal favor. At court, everything was a performance. The queen, resplendent in her jewels, played the role of the devoted consort, yet her eyes often drifted towards her own ambitions, a quiet determination resonating behind her composed facade. The king's brothers, trusted yet ever mindful of their own potential for power, played roles of loyal subjects, but each harbored secrets, their ambitions a quiet undercurrent in the court's melody. Down in the courtyards and the gardens, the air was alive with lesser courtiers and servants who, while not as high in status as those within the castle's grand halls, still played their parts. Every interaction between them was a note in this larger symphonic work. The ladies, in waiting, shared their own secrets amidst laughter, their alliances and rivalries as complex as those in the throne room. The crescendo reached its peak in a moment of confluence. A grand ball was planned, one that promised to bring everyone of note into a single venue, under a single roof. As the palace was adorned with luminous chandeliers and floral arrangements, each carefully placed to evoke a sense of harmony and opulence, the stage was set for the final act of this intricate composition. At the ball, the hall was filled with the soft rustle of silk and velvet, the seductive aroma of spiced meats and exotic fruits, and the gentle strains of a chamber orchestra. Laughter tinkled in the air like chimes, filling the spaces between conversations, and the atmosphere was one of blithe reverie. Yet beneath it all, the keen observers could sense the tension woven into the very fabric of the evening. The elements of the symphony were all in place. The king danced with his queen as eyes watched for expressions from both that could hint at the true state of royal affection. Courtesies exchanged between rival houses were scrutinized for any sign of the alliances that may rise from the ashes of former feuds. Perhaps it was already known that this celebration was more than just a social gathering. It was a confluence, a perfect alignment, a moment where all the disparate notes of court life would converge into a singular, powerful chord, one that would announce the end of one era and the awakening of another. As the music swelled in a final, brilliant crescendo, the orchestra followed the conductor's lead. Each musician attuned to their part. The king's reverie was interrupted by revelation, the ambience shifting as rumors, plans, and whispers came to light. The truths, spun into narratives behind closed doors and communicated in coded language, emerged into the public sphere. And then a climatic silence fell over the assembly, the echo of the music lingering, imprinting its aftermath on the hearts of those present. The tension that had been building reached its zenith and, in that silence, a new melody began its first tentative notes, faint but undeniable, signaling the end of an old symphony and the birth of another movement in the great opus of history. Thus, in the quiet that followed, the fires of ambition reignited, and the court, having played its part in the grand performance, was ready to embrace the possibilities of a new dawn, its future sketched out by the movements of those who had danced, plotted, and dreamed within its walls. A perfect symphony, now ready for those who prefer tranquility to lull them into peaceful sleep. In the quiet halls of history, where time's gentle touch has softened the edges of once turbulent periods, lies the tale of Beyond the Veil. This story, perfect for a peaceful slumber, whispers truths in half, truths to those who wish to listen as the night deepens and the moon casts its gentle glow. Before the world spun into chaos, and before the clamor of clashing swords, there existed a grand tapestry of serenity woven into the fabric of existence. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, had crafted a realm where every soul danced on the delicate threads of destiny, surrounded by the veils of illusion and reality. This was a time when the ultimate truth lay just beyond the veil, waiting patiently to be discovered by the brave hearts seeking it. In this peaceful realm, a group of souls, destined to be players in this grand tapestry, lived harmonious lives, unknowingly preparing for the moments when they would face their deepest reflections. Each was a slumbering seed, harboring within them the potential to either wield their destiny or be consumed by it. Amidst this backdrop of tranquility, there was Amara, a gentle weaver who created beautiful tapestries, her art said to capture glimpses of the truths hidden beyond the veil. Her hands moved with a rhythm that seemed to mimic the universe's own heartbeat. She wove tales of peace and calm, intertwining soft pastels with bold streaks of silver and gold, hinting at the hidden layers of reality. Her creations were sought after by those who desired to adorn their homes with pieces of serenity and introspective beauty. Nearby, in a small thatched cottage tucked away behind a lush, ancient grove, resided Elian, a wise sage whose knowledge spanned the unfathomable depths of time. He was said to have the gift of sight, the ability to perceive the threads that connected all life in the tapestry. His voice, when he chose to share his insights, was but a murmur in the vast cosmos, yet it reached into the very souls of those who listened, instilling them with calm and contemplation. A lion would often visit Amara's studio, drawn by her gentle spirit and the soft hum of creativity that seemed to perpetually surround her. They would talk for hours under the shade of whispering willows, sharing thoughts and dreams, visions, and stories that transcended the limitations of time. Peering slightly beyond the horizon of their village, past fields of wildflowers swaying in the breeze, lay the enigmatic Merwin, a keeper of secrets. She held the ability to glimpse the shifting mists beyond the veil. Merwin had a talent for understanding the languages of the winds and the stars. Her ethereal presence seemed to shimmer with the secrets of the universe, yet the warmth in her eyes proved she was rooted firmly in the gentle simplicity of the now. One moonlit evening, under the canopy of a star-strewn sky, a gathering took place on a tranquil meadow nestled between ancient oaks. Their branches entwined like wise elders leaning in to listen. It was a time for stories, for sharing the presence of peace and truth as they whispered along the threads of the tapestry. Amara, Elian, and Merwin sat together, their hearts beating in time with the universe. Each carried within them pieces of the ultimate truth hidden just beyond the veil. They spoke softly, their voices flowing like the quiet streams that ran through their land. Their words were melodic, soothing, lulling the attentive listeners into a calm yet heightened state of awareness. Amara, with her tender hands, began to weave a narrative, her fingers translating her thoughts into the loom of the night air. "Have you ever wondered," she began, "if the act of weaving is akin to the universe crafting our fates? Each thread intertwines, creating patterns we may not comprehend fully, yet they all form a masterpiece beyond our understanding." "Indeed," Ilian responded, his voice calm like a gentle breeze. "Our lives are intricately connected, each encounter a knot or loop in the grand design. We perceive them only in our limited perspective, often missing their full beauty. But it is through them that we grow, learn, and eventually seek the truths that await beyond the veil." Amarwin smiled softly, her gaze distant yet deeply connected. "The veil is not an obstacle, nor is it a deceiver. It is but the bridge between what we know and what we seek to understand. In this tranquil existence, we find the courage to gently lift it, to glimpse the ultimate truths without fear." As the night deepened, the peaceful lullabies of crickets and the gentle rustle of leaves embraced the gathering. To those who listened with open hearts, it was an unspoken promise that the ultimate truth lay within reach, patiently waiting for each soul to awaken to its call. This timeless dance, gentle and serene, continued through ages, each soul waving their part in serenity and introspection. The faces within the tapestry changed, but the essence of peace and understanding endured beyond the veil, ever present in the whispers of the universe. Thus, in the quietude of this history, where slumber can embrace even the most restless souls, the ultimate truth lies beyond the veil, awaiting discovery. Here, within the soft embrace of night, the players of this serene world journey gently into dreams, uniting once more with the tapestry of old, where destiny lies woven beyond, a promise for both now and forever. In the heart of a vast and mesmerizing kingdom where once lush pastures met the gleaming edges of innovation, history unfolded as serenely as the gentle breeze over a tranquil meadow. The kingdom, renowned for its peaceful coalescence of pastoral beauty and burgeoning industrial wonders, was a testament to human ambition, thriving through resilience and unity. Generations have seen the people of this realm living harmoniously, drawing from the knowledge of their ancestors while reaching forward with ingenuity. This delicate balance had been their greatest achievement, a model of coexistence rarely seen. Their cities hummed not with chaos but with a soft, rhythmic energy that spoke of progress in harmony with nature. Water wheels harnessed nearby brooks' whispers, and mills turned grain into sustenance for the soul and body alike. Every sunset painted the countryside in hues of peace, as gilded spires reflected the warmth of innovation in twilight's embrace. Yet the kingdom's centerpiece was its people. Farmers nurtured crops with wisdom passed down through countless generations, ensuring bountiful harvests that fed both the past and the future. Artisans skillfully crafted intricate designs, blending tradition with modern flair. Scholars and inventors met under ancient arches and newfound skylights, exchanging ideas that sparked both gentle illumination and bursts of revelation. As the chapters of history turned, the kingdom faced its greatest challenge: the emergence of mechanistic ingenuity that promised both prosperity and peril. Machines that thrummed with life and clattered with potential began to dot the landscape, their productivity overshadowed by the hesitance of farmers whose stories had been etched in earthen furrows. Yet, with each cautious step forward, technology integrated itself not as a conqueror, but as a companion to tradition. One day, a tremor rippled through the land, born not from discord, but from an unexpected shift in this delicate balance. The winds of change whispered through the veil as new leaders emerged, eager and bold, drawn by aspirations of a future reimagined. The shuffle of power did not give rise to the clamors of uncertainty alone, but to whispers of hope that lingered in the air like the soft breath of dawn. In this era reborn, conciliatory assemblies became tales spoken with gentle assurance rather than proclamations of upheaval or dissonance. They laid bare the challenges that lay before them, contemplating the wisdom of the elders alongside the fervor of youthful ambition. As voices melded and echoed in agreements of reverence, the kingdom reshaped itself, each word in harmony with the next, like notes in a soothing lullaby. Newly allocated councils discussed the matter of progression, mechanical wonders intertwined with the delicate art of their heritage. Comprehensive script, abiding through the clicks of typewriters and spoken through the recent revelations of photographs, documented the transformation. Cabinets of diverse perspectives envisioned bridges of stone and hope that crossed rivers carved through tradition and the unexplored. Artisans became guides of the machines and shepherds of progress, ensuring each crafted piece served both form and function, echoing the ethos of unity. Scholars penned histories with ornately filigreed quills and printed these tales on parchment, capturing the essence of time that neither erased the past nor forfeited the future's embrace. Marveling at the infusion of old and new, the kingdom found itself in a dance. Delicate steps threading together paths where soothed horses and carriages once trod alongside winding tracks of iron. These journeys became poetic rhymes, songs of advancement charted with verses from the past, choruses of modern mechanical harmonization. As time flowed like a river both calm and powerful, the kingdom became a symphony of progress and reflection. Its people, inheritors of wisdom and custodians of foresight, watched over the land. Together, they formed a tapestry of coexistence, delicate threads of tradition intertwined with stripes echoing a future seamed with understanding. And as dusk fell, casting a serene silence over the kingdom once more, within the quiet embrace of night, there mingled the twinkling lights of possibility and reminiscence. Thus, the story of the kingdom concluded, as it had begun, in peaceful balance with hope and uncertainty forever entwined, illuminating a path woven through the fabric of history, perfect for lulling the weary to restful slumber.